Okay, so what were we doing last stream? Oh, before we start, I'm going to just let you know I gave the website a bit of an update, a slight one. We now have trailer stuff on the website. I also put my other trailer on the website. I thought it needed it. So if you haven't, if you're unfortunate enough not to have seen our cool trailers yet, they're on the website now. I feel like they were a little bit hidden away before, and I wanted to make them more of a focus. So they're there now. They're there. I was thinking of putting a roadmap up at some point as well, so peeps know the stage of the project, but I don't want to I always get a bit I don't want to get too rigid. But at the same time, I want to have some sort of roadmap, even if it's just a vague one. So we'll say, go to the blue, there you go. Blue's a good colour. Blue's a good colour. Let's cross that out. Okay, so this is the fun bit for it, guys. We were coming up with titles last stream. We formed some words so that we could get some good ones. Because so far, that's our logo up there. You see it there? Raindrop Chronicles, the Twitch community made RPG. That's our current logo that we've had since the beginning. But the game itself, when we get our demo come out and all our other playable builds that before we release the actual episode properly, I want it to have a proper title. I would like every single episode to be titled, and make it feel a bit unique, rather than just a plain old boring episode one. So that was the purpose of the last stream. We were coming up with some. We wanted the words to link with the setting and the theme, though we weren't being random about it. We made sure that the words that we listed were all related to what's actually happening in episode 1, and which is set in Enchanted Forest. Episode 1 all takes place in a Everbloom Forest, and the theme is prejudice, that horrible thing that needs to be rid from the world. The overall story is things in the forest that come into life, and a war between two races is kind of here. So every episode is probably going to have its own themes, we're going to have that overarching story, where Carol the Barrel is the MVP, of course. That our overarching story will be there between all the episodes, but the episodes in themselves, the settings and the themes, the people we meet, the little stories involved will kind of be, unique to the episode. I think that's kind of fun. It keeps things fresh to have different things, different themes to talk about, to write together in each of the episodes. And that is really what sums up episode 1. It just so happened that it's gone that direction based on the NPCs that have kind of populated this zone in the world. We got humans living here, we've got reptiles living here, and they hate each other. So, as its most basic, prejudice is really the theme. And next week, we're going to get really into depth about the story elements again. We've talked about it a little bit for the Story Suggest-a-thon streams, but we're going to talk even more about it next week. So expect some more fun, very story plot kind of streams next week. You are 100% more organised than me with your game making. I think to an extent you have to be, because it can get very chaotic. And I'll be honest, been doing this a year, I've not been the most organised. I've been doing things some days I've been I'm doing story, then I've done battles, then I've done scenes, then I've done menus, and I'm kind of going to approach it in a more orderly way from now on, rather than just doing bits, because I found that I've been all over the place and not knowing, everything's been incomplete and very messy. So I'm going to expect a more organised game dev from now on for me, folks. Gonna be way better, more productive and much more smoother. But I've been okay, but I've realised I can do even better. Theme, jam. Jam is good. Jam is yummy. But anyone there who speaks Portuguese? No, we only speak English here, Gumball, unfortunately. Thanks for hanging out and for trying, I appreciate it. And bye, Gumball, sorry I don't speak Portuguese, barely speak English, yes. This stream is an English stream, so just how it is, unfortunately. I can't speak for languages, I'm a noob. Big old noob. And that's how I live, I'm always all over the place, ha ha ha. Alright, so, yeah, so this was super fun. All of us, me in chat, just come up with some really cool adjectives, nouns, verbs that we like. That either very foresty themed, imagery, or like relating to prejudice as well. So it's a bit of both. And I said that the words that had double meanings and that were both setting and theme were even cooler. You know, that meant both the two things. Because some of them did, some of them could have meant both. So what we did after that was we basically looked at all the words and we started forming titles by like picking a noun or an adjective and putting them together and all that fun stuff. Title generators do it this way. If you like Google title generator, it kind of works in a similar way to what we've formed here. And my goodness, we had loads, nearly 100 title ideas. So I just listed off over the last stream. So what I did do was shortlist some of these, and I've shortlisted to 30. I actually went through all the 90 that were suggested, and I picked out particular ones that I felt like went well together. Some of them I shortened a little bit, some of them were long, and I thought, well, that I like that bit, so I kind of picked out some shorter bits for some. So you might find, some of you might see one of the titles you suggested in here if you was here last stream, and you're here now, that is. But there's 30, but what I'm going to do, obviously Discord in regards to our polls, thank you, Gumball, for the follow. I appreciate that. And I'm sorry again that we can't speak Portuguese, but I hope you've had fun here still. And so, yes, in regards to polls, we can only have 10 votes max. So I've got an idea for how I'm going to do this, because obviously we're not going to just put all 30 on, because it's a bit too much for our eyes to see. So I'm going to split them up into categories, and we're going to have a few polls, because these titles of like are different, you know. There's long ones, there's short ones, there's more poetic-y descriptive ones, and there's you know, there's like different types of titles here. So the first few are like short ones, 2-worded ones. Them ones are like thing and thing, like 2 words with and in the middle titles. These ones are like the long descriptive ones. These ones were pretty interesting, very sort of poetic-y sounding ones, and I think it's worth having those ones too, because, you know, people might like those. And then we've got like, I really like the sort of whimsical, descriptive, intriguing titles of the last few as well. So I've kind of like categorized them in theme, and now we got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 types of titles there. So let's just type what they are. Shall I zoom in now, because I don't know if I could probably zoom in so you guys can see them a bit more clearly on the stream. But just so you know, as a reminder again, the reason we're starting this title business now is because I want to have the logo done for Stream 200. I think being able to reveal that logo on Stream 200 will be a really cool way to celebrate. And we're on Stream 191 now. My goodness, madness. But that's nothing. 200 streams is nothing in the grand scheme of things regarding this project. But yes, because it's a special number, I thought, yeah, we'll get the logo done for that stream. So we're going to obviously need time to get a few days. Pardon me, I'm getting the burps. We're going to need time to vote and for me to actually make the logo. So it's better to start now, really. Yes, we're going to get a few polls up today, and then we'll have another poll next week where the winners of each of these polls go through. So we got 30 titles now, and it'll probably get shortened to like 4 or 5. That'll be the aim. So the ones that win, the ones that get the most votes out of all these, will be the ones that go through to the final vote. And I'll probably have no more than 6, on that, 5 or 6 on the final poll, and then we'll know the winner then. So this is those ones are short titles, and everyone's different. It's not bad to have a short title, and it's not bad to have a longer title. It's whatever tickles our fancy the most. And I'm not attached to one of these types over the other. I kind of want to put, do a few polls for type and see what polls the most votes in each. And then the winner of each one will go through to the final. We'll say. That might be how I do it anyway. And won't be able to come to your lives every day. I'm too busy and don't speak English either. If I speak wrong English, it was Google Translate. Well, I appreciate you trying, Gumble. That's super sweet that you use the Google Translator. But yes, I get it. It can be difficult when... for sure, but thanks for hanging out with us even still. And hi Lindra, how you doing? It's good to see you, Lindra. I hope you're having a fantastic Friday. How are things on your end? We got some polls, guys. So you better not miss out on these votes, because it'd be heartbreaking if you did, right? these votes are going to be everything, but I'm going to keep the polls open for probably the weekend. I mean, it's Friday now. We don't stream again until Monday. So we're going to at least keep this poll open until Monday's stream. And this one is thing and thing. I don't know how else to word these type of titles. We should probably restart the numbering. There we go. Thing and thing titles. I kind of like that sort of style for writing titles. I liked, I can think of one off the top of my head, Blood and Wine from The Witcher 3, the DLC. That was one title that went for that. I've gone for the whole alliteration thing though with ours. These ones are the longer descriptive titles. Counting days till Christmas, yes. If we have much of a Christmas this year, in our country we might all have to not talk to anyone, because things have got pretty bad here. So we might be in lockdown over Christmas, weirdo. But still, Christmas is for eating loads of foods and having lots of drinks, and you can do that inside. So it's all good. And I will have lunch in a little while. At 12 I have lunch. Bye. I hope you have a good lunch. I hope it's super yummy. I had a chicken sandwich with cranberry, I think, was on it for lunch. That's what I had. Christmas itself might be a bit grim this year, but got a new job at the new year, so I'm looking forward to it. Oh, exciting. Are we allowed to know what job that is, Linda? Are you excited? It's, lockdown for us. They slowly move us all to risk-free. Yeah, I've not been paying close attention to the news because it can get a bit, can definitely drain you. So I've stayed as far away from the news as possible. I only hear what the updates now and again from my family because they pay attention to it. I don't. Corned beef slices sandwich with brown sauce. On the corned beef slices, oh, interesting. Brown sauce, gotta love the brown sauce. Right, so, and these titles are a little bit more, I guess, I'm trying to think of how to. Then the last type is, intriguing. They're all intriguing. Okay, so that's it. We've got 1, 2, 3, 5 different tile types here, so I've categorized them all because we had 30. I shortlisted it to 30, and obviously we can't put all 30 in one poll because there's not enough, it won't let me do that. So I've split them up into sections. So what I'm going to do, I'll just I'm going to put up 5 polls for each of these tile category types, and I'm going to ask you to vote on your favourites in each of the categories, and the ones with the most votes by next week will be the ones that go forward to the final vote. And I'm not sure how many I'll put in the final poll yet, but don't expect more than 6. It'll either be 4, 5 or 6 that get through. Whatever one's top the votes, that'll be how we do it. And this will be our title for episode 1, folks. So it's very, very important because it's going to be the face of the whole game. It'll be on the website. Where's our let's go on the website. So how I'm going to do it is this. It's taking forever to load. Here we go. So, at the moment we've got Raindrop Chronicles, a Twitch community-made RPG. That's our logo right now. That's going to go. The Twitch community-made RPG is going to go. No offence to you, Twitch, but you're a bit of an asshole of a company lately. So I'm not going to name my precious game after you. I mean, I love you, Twitch, because you got me my community and made me meet loads of cool friends and stuff, but yeah, no, I'm gonna call it and sort that out. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna put whatever title wins in place of that, but I'm gonna kind of maybe just add a few little extra visual touches to get that forest imagery in, maybe. So obviously all the titles that we've got here would fit underneath, because we had some really long suggestions in the last stream, and I did like a few of them, and I had to shorten them just a touch because they might have been a bit long to fit under otherwise. Oh my gosh, you guys have been chatting and I've missed it all. I've rambled too much. I'm a game developer, so I'm changing companies after 5 years working on racing games. Will be a nice change. Oh, that sounds interesting. Racing games. I'll admit that's one genre I've never really played much because I'm terrible. I'm absolutely terrible at racing. I've crashed into things I do when I play those games. I just crash. Everyone I work with me seems to have done a stint there, yeah. And working on racing games sounds like a dream to me, but after 5 years I can imagine it's time for something else. 5 years, yeah. It's quite a long time, but that sounds fun. I've done placements in studios and stuff just for a couple of months, so in the past, in my younger years. And it was always a fun environment. But I'm more of an RPG and stylized game fan, yeah. Sounds like we got a similar taste then, Linda. 30 years of history, lots of people have been and gone there. Hi Marcus, how you doing? It's good to see you. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I'm just stopping by. How was your Friday? Kind of saying professionally I like to do racing games, but for personal projects I keep coming back to RPG. Yes, I think RPGs are like the perfect personal project, because you can make your little mark on it, can't you, with the story and the characters, and it's just very fulfilling to be able to do that. And I mean, I love writing, I love storytelling, but I think games are the best medium to do that in, even more so than books. And I mean, books are brilliant, but you know, games, you've got all this visual stimulus. You've got visuals, you've got the audio, and you've got all that makes it so satisfying, seeing, because it's all brought to life. So I think RPGs are the perfect medium to bring stories to life. I really do. I mean, it's hard work to do that, very time consuming, but I think it's satisfying. And good luck with your new job, Linda. Yeah, good luck, if I didn't already say so. And I hope it goes lovely. I hope you have fun. Codemasters always brings the Dizzy games to mind, just my age. I get what Dizzy games? 5 years is a long time. Hopefully your next project is a fun one. 5 years is a long time, but believe it or not, I know people. When I worked in an office, like before I started streaming, there was people in that office who had worked in there for like 30 years. I was like, what? How can you work in the same place for 30 years? That's like, at the time, it was longer than I'd been born. So I was just like, my gosh. Talk about, like, depressing. Everything, every day the same. Doing nothing but admin every single day for 30 years. The same stuff. I have played that myself and the Overlord games, but in the past decade their focus has been racing. A lot of work. You're a mad person, Rose. I am. I mean, for me, it's what I live for, right? I think anybody else, well, not anybody else, I'm sure there's other people like me out there, but most people would give up because of the commitment involved and the sacrifice that is involved in like doing something like this. Because, most people have families or jobs or relationships that they need to nurture, and they don't have time to be doing such a thing. But I'm not a normal person. And 100% agree, it's an ideal genre for putting a lot of creativity in. Yeah, I agree. You can do it, Rez. Thank you, Linda. We had someone come in last stream saying, are you sure you're going to do this? Because making a game is like hard, and I didn't even know what to say, because we don't get that in this channel. Like, everybody that comes here and hangs out here is like super encouraging to me, and very, very like their attitude, your attitudes, everybody here is so like perfect to me. It's the sort of attitude I love. I don't like that attitude where people are like, make the games hard And it's usually self-projection because that person can't do it themselves. And yeah, it's like, well, yeah, it is hard, but isn't that the point? Because anything that's easy, you know, that's no fun. I put a screenshot on Discord of Dizzy Rose. Oh, thank you, Ashwell. I'll look. Maybe I'll recognise it when I see the screenshot. Making games is hard, but anything hard is worth doing. Exactly. And it's a challenge. It's a life goal, right? That's how I see it. As like, if I can be on my deathbed, not to get morbid or anything, but if I can be on my deathbed and be like, oh yeah, I made a really cool RPG series, and it was out there. That was out there as a product. That to me is like a freaking awesome life goal. So it's not something I see as a rush. Oh, I'm making a game. I've got to do it next year. I've got to do it before 20 so and so, because to me it's just a life goal. Just always something I've wanted to do since I ever discovered game engines when I was like 12. I was like, yeah, I want to make a game. Some people love a job to just be 9 to 5 repeat, then go home, focus on other things. Personally, would rather not exist if had to not do something creative changing, but can understand the appeal of the stability. Yeah, I can get it. Like, for me, my opinion in regards to 9 to 5 is that it's great because you obviously don't have to have that burden of like struggling to make money and pay the bills, because you get that stable income. So that part of your life is very nice and easy, and you can just come home, relax, watch Netflix and do whatever you want, and then get to bed and do the same thing the next day, which is nice. It's a nice, stable, easy life. But it's such a time sink, right? Those hours that you put into that job. So to me, if you're going to do it, make sure you're getting something from it, because all that time that you're using on that, you could be putting into somewhere else, you know? And usually you come back too tired. Like when I worked 9 to 5, I'd have been too tired to do something like this. I wouldn't give up. Like, I'd still do it, but it'd obviously be to a lot less of a intense degree. It would be less hours. But it's very challenging to do a very creative time-consuming project while you're working. You're too young to recognise it, Rose. My goodness, Asriel, you're showing your age if you think I'm young. My goodness me. Creativity for the win. Yeah, and I'll only ever tell people, are you sure you want to make a game, when it's obvious they think it's quick money? Oh gosh, you can't, if you want to make money, then game dev or anything to do with games isn't really the best career to go into. There's more money making careers than games, if money's priority. Games should be for the love of it, right? That's what it's about, really. Okay. Right, should we start getting these polls in? I'm loving the chats today, guys, though. These sort of chats are fun. So I'm going to get them all in slowly. I forgot how to do polls now, so I have to do a test one to remind myself. Oh. Yeah, this was a little bit before my time. Just a little bit. The earliest games I played, I did play some DOS games when I was like a tiny girl. Hugo's House of Horrors was one. You know, those adventure games where you like had to type in stuff. But yes. Those were the days. Hugo games were awesome. You played those, Binary? Yeah, I played the whole trilogy. There was the House of Horrors one, and then there was another couple after that one as well. They were quite dark, actually. I was like looking at some images of it the other day, and I thought, oh my god, that game was actually a little bit dark. Talked about chopping people's heads off or something, and I was like, what, 6 or something when I played those? What was I exposed to? Alright, so I'm going to do a test poll first, so I can make sure I get it in properly. It's been a while since we've had a poll, so I kind of forget how it's done. I think that might be it. Looks like, yes, that is how we do the polls. So I'm excited, I'm nervous but excited to get these polls up. So if you're in the Discord, you'll be able to vote. As long as you're in the Discord, you'll be able to take part in our polls. If you're not, then you won't be able to vote. So feel free to join if you haven't yet. We have some cool channels. Here they all are. Put an emoji next to all of them. Feel free to share your stuffs, share your life with us. It's always fun to see pics. Any plans for the weekend? Hi Rod, how you doing? Weekend, oh my gosh, it is the weekend, isn't it already? I'm playing D&D on Sunday with Canon. I was playing D&D with Canon every 2 Sundays, I think. I think it's on this Sunday anyway. Other than that, there's nothing I'm doing. So, cool channels, adorable pets is the best. It is best channel. Best channel. Make sure to post those cute pets. Alright, so we're going to put in the short tiles first. So, I feel like I need to put a little bit of an explanation first so that there's some context. Because people are like, tiles for what? So, I'm just going to copy and paste. One thing I wish Discord did have is different font sizes. That'd be pretty cool. Be pretty nice to be able to do that for the polls and make it look pretty. Hope you have fun and stay safe as usual. Thank you, Brad. You too. I stay safe. I'm a good girl. Never get into any trouble, me. A hermit can't really. Hermits can't get into trouble, right? Okay, so for stream 200, I'm going to reveal the updated logo with the episode 1 title. I've put together a short list of titles. It's time to vote for your favourite. Okay, so other than that, I'm going to say... yeah, I'm going to mention these... just so peeps know. Because it'd be cool, of course. I mean, vote on the one that you think sounds the best, you know. Because when it comes to titles, we want something that's going to stick. And that doesn't necessarily mean we have to have the short ones, because, I mean, yeah, the short ones are usually the easiest to remember, and, you know. But sometimes longer ones can stick as well, you know. Just vote on the one that sounds cool. And obviously, if you think, oh, that goes with the setting and the theme best, then feel free to vote on what you think just works best for the episode too. But the ones I've shortlisted, I'd say kind of all work fine, so it should be fine. Awesome, Rod. Thank you for checking up on me. And did you ever play any of the Sierra Online Adventure games? Quest for Glory, King's Quest? I did. King's Quest... Was it King's Quest 7? The one with the Queen and the Princess? When the Queen was in the desert and the Princess turned into a troll? I played that one when I was a kid. I was stuck on it for like... forever. I was rubbish at it. Because back in those days, you couldn't like look at Let's Plays or walkthroughs. Well, I didn't know how. I was like 6 or something, and so I wouldn't have known how to look up a guide. I ended up just wandering around that desert for like a year, seriously. And I love the Quest for Glory games. Didn't play too many King's Quest apart from the first few. Yeah, they're fun, you know, those old school adventure games. Super fun. Okay, so there we go. That looks pretty, doesn't it? Okay, poll 1. Now, vote for your... No, hang on. What is your favourite short, simple title? And I'm going to copy them like this rather than write them in myself, because now in me I'll make a silly typo and then we'll get the wrong title. So yeah, every single title on these lists, they're very foresty. They're clearly all very foresty sounding titles. And some of them kind of bring in the whole prejudice and conflict aspect as well. I think that's it. But yeah, all the titles here kind of come from this. They're all mixed words from these bunch of adjectives, nouns, verbs, etc. that we come up with. So whatever one ends up winning, whatever ends up winning, well, we won't know the winner from these polls, because there'll be a like final poll where the winners of each poll get put on, and then we'll know the winner. But whatever does win, we're going to continue that sort of same title phrasing for the future episodes too, for consistency. So if we have a short title that wins, then we'll continue and have a short title for the other episodes. If we end up with a longer or whimsical title, then we'll continue that throughout all the future episodes too. Oh no, we got bots again. Oh no, not again. Let's ban them all. Can we have nice real people in the stream, please? Instead of bots. There we go. We're all gone, right. No mods now. I'm the only mod of the stream. I can put it all I'm probably the only streamer on Twitch that doesn't have mods. I mean, there are people that are modded in the channel, but they're just because they're friends of mine, like long-term friends, not because they're actually real mods. But yes, it's because, I mean, in all honesty, one reason is because I'm not a gamer streamer, so it's kind of easy enough for me to just do that myself, because my mouse is right here, I'm always with it, and if I was a gaming streamer, it would be impossible for me to self-mod. But and the other reason is because I have trust issues. I've had, like, since being a streamer, I've had 4 mods, I've banned 4 mods because of them being controlling and getting power hungry. It's always turned into a disaster with the majority of actual real mods that I've had in the channel. So it's just made me paranoid as hell to ever have mods again. People are weird. They are. I mean, my experience was when I was a much younger streamer, like in my first year of streaming. It happened 3 times in my first year of streaming, and it was just, I had one mod, they got banned, then I had another mod, and then I had to ban them as well. It was like continuous, and I thought, what's wrong with people? Why can't they just be normal? Not the good kind of weird, I know. Good weird is good. Like nerdy and that kind of weird is good, but not like creepy weird. No, thank you. Not stalker weird. That definitely not that sort of weird. Hello, hi Kindled, how you doing? It's good to see you. Hope you're having a good day, Kindled. How are things for you? Okay, so I think we got all those right. I'm double checking because I don't want to get any typos. Wearing giant German Shepherd t-shirts to company meetings, weird, that's fine, right? Right, yeah, that's a good weird. Wearing anything that's got a cute doggo on it is clearly the coolest thing ever. Alright, so I'm scared to get it in, but let's get it in. The anticipation is unreal. No, I've done it wrong, damn it. Don't vote, guys. Let's delete. I knew something would have gone wrong. Delete. Oh no, I've got to write it up again now. I should have copied and pasted it first. My bad. What happened was I didn't do the titles formatting properly. And I think I know why that is. Because I used the speech mark thingies twice. Pretty rocking stressful, but something that's happening is I got the Oculus Quest 2 and I'm getting into VR chat. That's lots of fun most times. Oh, that sounds fun. That sounds fun indeed. I've heard a couple of people, well, there's a couple of people I know on the Twitter who have mentioned VR chat and they have fun with that too. Sounds fun. And Cyberpunk's coming out soon as well, Kindled, and I know that you're just as excited about that as me. So, is it a month now until Cyberpunk? I think it is. Now I'm going to copy and paste this time, so in case we screw it up, I don't have to do it again. Okay, so feel free to start voting now, or you can vote once we get all the polls in if you prefer. It's up to you, folks. And welcome, Linda, you've joined. Thanks for joining our little stream. Stream, I mean Discord. It's not the stream. There we go. The only thing I can't get is get the next-gen consoles for a while, so I hope it's able to run on my OG Xbox. Yeah, see, I can't either, Kindled. I'm too skinny for that, so I'll be playing Cyberpunk on my PlayStation. So hopefully it'll be alright for me too. And if you were applying for a game dev job, what would you apply for? What would your field be if you had to choose a role? Are you asking me or chat binary? Are you asking me specifically or chat or all of us? And is that the aim with Raindrop Chronicles, to build a portfolio, or is it just for your own pursuits? Well, if I was going to say my dream outcome, it would be that I'd be able to be an indie dev and make a living from it myself, so that I can continue doing Raindrop Chronicles full time and other game projects full time forever for the rest of my life. That is like number one wish, if you get what I mean. I suppose plan B would be that it would lead to that, which what you've said, binary, and that would be if I obviously wasn't you know, but I'm lucky to be in a situation where both my parents and my partner won't force me to pay the bills or anything like that. So I could happily just work on something for as long as I want without even if I was making a small income, basically. I wouldn't feel pressured to have to get a job because I need to pay the bills, if you get what I mean. So for me, it's just work on what I want. I make this into a really cool thing. A really cool game series, right? That's the ultimate goal. Anyone was directed at you, but chat should jump in. Is it interesting? It's a good question. I'd want to work in the animation department of a game studio. It's a good job, Kindled. That would be fun. Already have a game dev job, programming and generalist. That's awesome. I mean, it's a very awesome thing to be able to work in the games industry. If it wasn't for Raindrop Chronicles, I'd be all over it. But I know that I take this project very seriously, and I cannot let anything prioritize over it right now. I'm currently taking a chance at applying a lot of film companies here. I'm expecting to get rejected by them all, but I'm going to take a shot. No, you can reject them, Kindled. You realise your awesomeness, Kindled, and realise that they'd be lucky to have you. But yeah, it's about attitude, self-confidence, for sure. You can do it. And cool, interesting to know. Sounds awesome. Good luck. Keep a positive attitude. I don't have those things. Yeah, just work on your skills, and you know, you can do it. You can do it. Also, we're getting the votes in already, I say. Right. Discord, everybody. If anyone hanging out here with us isn't in the Discord already, feel free to join. You'll be able to vote this way. We're just slowly getting in all the polls for the titles, because I've split them up by shortlisted, our huge, humongous shortlist here. get to 30. And obviously 30 is too many for one poll alone, so I'm splitting it into 5 polls based on title types. So we'll get in the next poll now, and I'll be keeping this poll up for at least Monday's stream, at least till the end of Monday's stream. Given I started learning at 40, I would in all honesty work as an indie dev. If I were to apply, I would have said programmer or writer, but I'm enjoying trying out the 3D art side. Awesome, Alstria. See, I wouldn't even know what role for me, because I'm not going to call it a jack of all trades, because that term is kind of meant to be quite negative. I don't think it is, but some people see that term as negative. But that's what I do it all, right? I mean, you got to be able to go in and out of roles to make a game. I mean, I'm far from a programmer, I'll put it that way. That's probably my least good skill, so I would never apply for programming jobs. But I feel like the general game design and running of a project, as well as the writing, is kind of my jam most of all. The generalist. So but applying to these places is terrifying. Well, it can be, especially if they're like a company or a studio you really look up to and admire. That for sure. It's can be a bit daunting, but I find that as you build confidence, that fear kind of goes away a bit. I used to be like that too, mainly when I'd just come out of college. I'd kind of be a bit scared and feel like maybe I wasn't good enough. But as I've got older, I feel like I've started to get a bit more of a cocky attitude now. So sometimes time does that to you. And can you give us a short summary of episode 1 so I can see how that matches to pick the best title from that? Awesome. Yes. So I've put in the setting, theme and story, but we can get a little bit more detail if you'd like to, so it can help more with the voting. So I'm just gonna either we could go and grab our Lore Bible description. Actually, no, not that, because I think that's more about the overarching story than episode 1 specifically. So what I am going to do, I'm going to open Draw.io and get our story suggestion keynotes that we got the other week. So give me a sec, guys, while I open those. But I agree, Binary. I think having a description will help pick might, sway you to a certain title more than another. So it's not a bad thing to do. I have so many Draw.io documents now that I don't know which one to open. So I'm hiding the screen, guys, just so you don't see all my private stuff. It will be here in a minute. Why does it say error? Drawing has been a big butt face. This is what's coming up. Error. You decide to do it now, don't you, Draw.io? But I do have some stuff here, because we're in the middle of like putting together the like main story elements, so it's so coming up with an actual summary is still in the works, but we do have like bits, but it's a pity that it's not letting us open it, because I could just copy and paste then. I don't know if this is the one. There is a long history of hatred between two races. Okay, so I'm going to have to unfortunately write this in because it won't let me open drawer. I wonder why it's done that. It's never done that before. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to just expand on this, the story section here. So we have two elements. We've got the things coming to life and we've got the war between the two races. And I'm going to just write a short paragraph for each of those elements because these are the two main story elements of episode 1. These two things here. So I'll just expand on it a bit. Keep at it, mate. Yeah, they were super cute. I definitely see jack of all trades as a positive term, but the other word for it is generalist, I guess. Yeah, because I would have called myself a jack of all trades, but then I read like something the once that was like, that's a bad thing to say, and I'm like, is it? I thought it was good. It says you couldn't do it all. So. But yeah, generalist, I suppose. Anything that scares you is probably worth doing. Yes, exactly, binary. Have confidence, get shot down, no confidence. Yeah. See, like I was, like when I felt a little bit low in self-esteem, it was when I was in my early 20s, and it's because I wasn't successful in getting the jobs I wanted when I'd come straight out of university. And it was really bad because I had been set up to, our tutors and would say things to us like, oh, you're gonna really get the best career ever, Rose. Basically, it'd say stuff like that to me because I left college and uni with like really high grades. So they were like, yeah, you'll easily do this. I even won like 2 awards, but yet despite that, I didn't get the jobs I wanted, despite doing 6 placements in the industry. So none of them hired me. And that shot my confidence down because it was like, well, no one wants me. Yeah, but I've kind of just developed a different attitude since then. I've got older, I guess. I was just young and I took it a bit personally, but now I see it as, well, they just didn't get the chance to see the best version of me, and that's their loss. That's kind of how I feel now. First couple of applications are terrifying, but it's amazing how quickly that goes away. Yeah, so being a jack of all trades is good for indie, but yeah, for full-time dev, they expect people to just be a beast at one thing. Yeah, being a beast at one thing, I get the appeal, that's for sure. I just can't do just one thing because I find it too fun just doing everything, going between it all. This depends on the company size. A small non-indie company, generalists are still more desired. Oh, generalists are desired. I'm desirable. Glen Music. And hi Arthur, how you doing? It's done that because you're streaming live and the Sod's Law has kicked in. Yeah, screw the silly draw, Ryo. Uni is just a setup to get destroyed. It is. Get your hopes up. I'm like, yeah, you're good. Your work is awesome. You're gonna get a job. And then when it actually comes down to reality, it's not as easy as that at all. Especially when you're in the middle of a recession, which at the time we were, so it made it even harder. Okay. Now, let's get up, and I apologise for being a little bit slow in regards to getting all these polls up, but we're not in a rush, are we? As long as we get it up before the end of the stream. I'm kind of enjoying the chats. Right, so here we go. I'm gonna just move this over to my other monitor and I'm gonna just write down this description. So I'm gonna write the war one first, which is the second plot element of the story. But it's a good idea, Binary. Thanks for piping up and saying that, because we will get the true vibes and of the ideal titles more if we have a more detailed description in. That's for sure. There is a long history of hatred between two races, humans and reptiles. Okay, so it was once the home of the reptiles. They now dwell in the caves within Everbloom Forest. And I think there's a few more key things to say here. Not one race is evil. There is good and flawed in both races. Just so people know, so that we don't get any assumptions that the reptiles are the evil ones, because that is not true. None of them are the evil. There's good and flawed in both. Humans are complicated. Okay, so I think those are the main. Hang on, there's actually another sentence I want to add here that could help. Hi Julian, how you doing? It's good to see you. Hope you're having a fantastic day. I'll be catching up with chat in a sec. Once I've finished my process of thought. They have been indoctrinated with fear and hate. Facts have been twisted or even made up. There we go, I think that's fine. But we've also got the first bit, which is about, will draw AI behave itself now? That's the one we want to open, but it might say no. Fingers crossed. Yeah, it worked. Okay, so there we go. In the last 12 months, things have strangely started coming to life, such as barrels, containers, trees, plants and fruits. There's talking nightfall from the humans living there about how dangerous Everbloom Forest has become. There we go. Story, a summary. Should I just edit that to make it a bit more tidy? Okay, I think that is fine. So now guys, you've got a little little summary. It might not be 100% worded perfectly because I've kind of just and sorry about the lag, folks. Something's gone wrong with the stream. Are we back? Thank you, Sky Guardian, for that follow, by the way. I appreciate it. How are you doing? Okay, we're back. We didn't have drop frames. That was like a lag. It might be to do with Streamlabs. Sometimes when alerts come through, we get a bit of lag sometimes. Have to have a look into that. Okay, so preferably you have to be good at a lot of things. I started with art, but in the end I've got a lot more on my skill set like now, like management, pipeline, bug fixing. Yeah, and that's kind of the same with me. I mean, I did a degree in like branding and advertising and general visual communication stuff. So I suppose you could say graphics, but it's really not what I do at all now. I lost the passion. The only reason I did the degree was because it was more creative than anything else. But yeah, I generally just like doing everything. This project is basically, that's everything I like to do. The companies who ask you to do art, animation, drawing and are a bit more demanding. The humans are clearly evil. Humans are definitely very flawed, for sure, Arthur. In fact, they might be a bit too flawed and we need to start working on making them a bit more likeable, because so far we've kind of made the humans a little bit too hateable. It's very easy to do that with humans because they suck. So not you though, chat, only humans in general. We made at the moment the reptiles are probably nice and the humans aren't, so we've got to get the balance right, because really they're both equally as lovable and as hateable, depending on, you know, the human or the reptile. Okay, so we've got short, simple titles, but we got more tile types. I have to cross all these off so we don't have too many tabs, because when I have a lot of tabs, that's when we get a bit of laggy, slowing down stuff happening. So next poll. I don't know what to call it. What is your favourite? Hang on. Thing and thing. I guess that's what it is, a thing and thing tile. Something and something. Basically a word and then another word, which they're quite nice tiles, memorable. We got 6 of them. And if there's like words like rumours, I'm spelling it the British way, by the way, because I know you Americans don't have the U in rumours. So, gotta spell it the British way. Gotta have to try and be consistent with words. Love the Chrono Cross music, Kaiser Fierce. A lot of people do. I've had so many. In fact, out of all the RPG soundtracks I have on stream, that's the one that gets complimented the most. It is a very good soundtrack, I have to agree. We hate yous, yeah, you do, don't you? And maybe you need a positive human quest in there. Yeah, we're going to think about this next week, guys. Because I thought of one way to make the reptiles a little bit more, not as nice. Because we don't want to go in the caves and like be like, God, these reptiles are adorable, and like fall in love with them, because they're still questionable. their behaviour and what they're doing. So it can't be all like, oh, reptiles are adorable and I want them to be my pets. Can't be like that. So I've thought of one little way we could make them a little bit more questionable, but we need to do that with the humans too. We need to make some things really nice with the humans. Well, not necessarily nice, but positive, as you say. And we'll think of that. We'll make sure we get that balance right, don't you worry, chat, because if it ever turns out that it feels like one of the groups is more likeable than the other, then we'll have to rework it a bit until we get the balance. But yeah, inserting a couple of lovable human NPCs in the bunch can help as well. How are you doing, Andy Cake? Oh my god, I missed your comment because you were sandwiched between the two bots. The two bottom thingies. How are you doing, Andy Cake? Hope you're okay. Is that gonna... Oh no, I didn't... My brain's gone today. I'm not... Didn't even put the poll thing in front. Hey, go away. Why is there a coffee there? Oh, what? Remove all embeds. Right, hang on. One sec, guys. I'm going to delete that one because... There we go. I didn't know how else to describe it other than what is your favourite thing and thing title. So yeah, as we said before, there's 5. We got longer descriptive ones now, so we'll get that one in now. How I might do it is pick the winner of each to go through to the final. I might do it like that. I'll see which ones get the most votes overall. It's hard to judge just yet because say if one category get way more votes than another, then people probably like Chrono Cross music until they figure out it's from Chrono Cross. I think people hate on CC because it wasn't a sequel to Chrono Trigger. Yeah, Chrono Trigger's a wonderful game. But I don't think it's, it's a bit silly for people to hate on something just because it's not the same game. I mean, I loved Final Fantasy VII, but I also loved Final Fantasy VIII. So Final Fantasy VII was my first that I played, and 8 was my second, and I liked them both. And Chrono Cross does have a brilliant soundtrack. I've not personally played the game, but I gotta admit the soundtrack's good. How you doing, Sorter? It's good to see you. Hope you're having a fantastic day. And again, I'm going to put the Discord link in chat. For anyone who isn't in our Discord yet, we're doing polls today for the title. I shortlisted a list of almost 100 titles to 30. And this is what we're doing now. We're going to get polls for all 30 titles put in. And the ones that get the most votes will go through to the final. And we're going to keep the polls open for at least, until the end of Monday's stream so we can get the votes racked up. Longer descriptive title now. I've been butchering the... One sec, folks. I'm butchering the... I know nobody's voted on this, so I can delete it. I've really been butchering the sentences. I didn't put a question mark. There we go. Sorry. I'm going to zoom in a bit more, so I want you folks to see properly. how's you? Not too bad, so I'm excited to see what title we end up having for the episode, put it that way. Copy all those. You do have a lot of drops indeed. Do you want to see how many drops I've got? Are you shocked? Oh my goodness. 338 more and I'll be a Leviathan. 20k for me, the streamer. I'm not, even me, I'm not the highest rank either. I've thought about adding another rank. What is your favourite longer descriptive title? Ooh. Yeah, so if you want to wait until I've got all the polls in, that's fine. But feel free to start voting now if you'd like. Not even one in your own stream. Zero. Zero the hero. 194. That's good, Zephyrus. It's better than having one raindrop or 0 raindrops. Good. Two more polls. Oh my god, I'm such a silly. Oh my goodness, let's delete that quickly. I'm just glad no one's voted yet because that'd be bad. What? Mr. You're out. Okay, I'm going to double check that they're typed properly now because this is bad. What is your favourite longer descriptive title? What is your favourite thing that you're sort of, yeah, everything's okay. Good. These ones are basically doubled up. So a few people in chat last stream had a few suggestions of this wording, and I kind of thought, yeah, that they're not too bad. These ones. So I thought I'll have a few of them with the comma in the middle. Just depends on the style of title you like, I guess. What is your favourite? It's personal preference. Not any of them are wrong. Sometimes shorter titles are cool, sometimes longer ones are. And I kind of like all of them. So I shortlisted, all the ones that I shortlisted I'm okay with. Otherwise I wouldn't have put it on the shortlist. At this point, it's just shortlisting it even more. Thank you for the votes, by the way. Spam the Discord with spam the chat with the Discord link again. Oh, we should have yeah, we have a poll. Join Discord to find. In fact, clicking that link is better. Like if you're already in the Discord, if you click that link, it'll take you straight there. So there you go, chat. if that's easier for you, then click that link and then you can vote. We've only got one more poll to put up now. So the last one is intriguing, whimsical is how I've worded it. It's because that it's very descriptive about the location. It makes you intrigued. But as you can see, a lot of the tiles, the longer ones are just expansions on the shorter ones. Or the longer ones are just, the short ones are just cut down version of the longer ones, maybe you could say that too. What is your favourite intriguing? Why has the coffee come up again? There you go. Yeah, so that way we've managed to get every single shortlisted title into the polls. I didn't have to cut it down further, which is nice, because at first I was like, oh, we got 30, but that's too many still. And I was gonna shortlist it even more today on stream with you guys, but I thought, no, let's put them all in polls, because then there could be some good ones. And whatever gets the most votes, the more votes one has, the more chance it will have of going forward into the final poll, which I'm really excited about. The final poll. Thanks for the votes, folks. I see we're getting more votes coming in now because we've officially finished. I'm going to just double check, make sure that I've not made any mistakes or missed any of these off. So that would suck if I did. That's fine. Awesome, so they're all in. I'm curious though, chat, if there's any that you like. Is there any title type that you're partial to more? The short, the thing and the thing, the longer, descriptive, the poetic, resonating, or the intriguing, whimsical ones. I'm curious, because I don't have any preference to the title types. I think they're all interesting in their own way. And I honestly can't pick which type I prefer. Hey, don't look at mine. Says, don't worry, I haven't spied. I'm actually curious who's voted, but I'm not gonna look. I'm not gonna embarrass you all on stream. But I'm gonna probably spend the rest of the stream regularly putting the poll command into chat so people can vote. I have an obsession with staring for the votes as they come in. And I'm glad that we're getting some coming, but of course we'll need to have a bit of time till it builds up, which is why the polls won't be closed until Monday at the earliest, which will be the next stream. I mean, I might want to extend it on to Wednesday, but we'll see, because at the end of the day we need time to get the final poll in for the ones that get the most votes, and I'll need time to actually design the logo too, and that all needs to be done before stream 200. So I'll judge on Monday with how it's all going, and I'll make my decision then. If we got enough votes, if there's like clear winners, then we'll stop it during Monday's stream. But if I feel like, oh yeah, we definitely need more votes because it's all a bit too equal, like this one for example, this is very equal. If it's like that, then I'll give it until Wednesday. Look at my answers on stream. I voted, but it's only splitting up the opinions more. Well, don't be afraid to split the opinions up more. At the end of the day, every vote matters, right? And the poll's only just open, so it's going to be very difficult to judge at this point. We might start getting a little bit more votes towards the end of stream if we get some people stopping by and realising that there's a poll, then we might get some more votes in. But yes, it's still very early days. I see that there's certain ones that you guys like that already have free votes, which is interesting. But I want more votes, more. Right. Okay, so I'll cross off the shortlist because we don't need it anymore. I think we can cross this off as well, maybe. Okay, so the rest of stream, what we're gonna do. That didn't take us too long to do, did it? It took us a while though. But we've definitely got time to do some other stuff. So we're going to carry on with Story Suggest-a-thon, folks. So here's our awesome logo with Woodygasm on it. I bet you'll be staring at the polls constantly. I know I would. I will be. I'm going to say right now that for the rest of this stream, I'm going to be regularly checking these polls, everybody. That's definitely going to be happening. I'm just way too intrigued. And I'm going to, again, every 10 minutes expect me to do this, because I want everybody to be able to quickly get into the Discord. Because now I want to, it's harder if I'm just like, yeah, just go to Discord. But if the link's there, then people are more likely to click then. Sky Guardian, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, like when it comes to polls, we don't do them like loads, but whenever there's a time, like for example today when we got like a plot changing decision to make or something really important, we'll always have a poll to set something in stone, especially if there's a lot of different contrasting opinions or choices. Then yeah, we'll have polls, and we always do it in Discord. We don't tend to use websites for polls. Like there are a few good websites for polls, but they're not as flexible as Discord, and they're also not as safe. I don't know if that's the word, but you don't get cheats. You don't get people cheating with the votes on Discord, because you have to have an account in Discord to vote at the end of the day. But with website polls like poll.ly, I had a friend, I said, can you check that people can't cheat? And they went incognito and voted like 20 times for one option. And I was like, well, we can't use that website, and so that'd be flawed. Alright, thanks for the votes, peeps. I see we're getting more. Still very hard to judge. Can't make any judgments yet on what one's gonna win. Can completely change over the course of the weekend for all we know. But yes, okay, so let's see what we can spend the rest of the stream doing then. If we've done all the poll stuff. I didn't expect that to take all the stream. Oh, in fact, I'm actually going to just let people in general chat know that we've got polls, because some people might not be in the stream but might be in general chat. So I just put some polls over in polls. We're voting on what episode. Look at all those eyes. I think straw poll has things for detecting and preventing that, but this is a good way to lure more people into Discord. Exactly. Yeah, exactly, Mary. I mean, straw poll's probably the best in regards to making sure people don't cheat. I'm not sure how many poll options you're allowed on that. I think does it allow loads? I've always thought straw poll should allow customization to some extent, rather than just that bright yellow background. It can be quite jarring to the eye, for me anyway. But it's probably the best one. But yeah, get people in the Discord, get them as part of our community, lure them in. Oh, what I see one that's really kind of people have took a shine to over any of the others so far. So say if we get into a situation where one of the polls only has like very few votes and very spread out, then but if there's ever any like standout ones that have like loads of votes, they're going to be the ones that will go through to the final poll that we'll do, which will either be on Monday or Wednesday, the final poll. Oh no, I just started sending out my applications and realised I forgot to change the name of the PDFs. Oh no, Kindle. Oh, I'd do something like that. Like me, I forgot I was making tons of typos from doing these polls. I get brain melt quite a lot. Okay. Honestly, I'm obsessed with just staring at I could spend the rest of the stream just staring at the polls. I'm sorry, I'm silly, I'm very sad. Okay, I used to use the company names to personalise it up so the PDFs are title fillable blank app for blank company. Oh no, Kindle, can you let them know and ask for them back so you can do it? I'm sure it won't be that big a deal though, right? They're going to be alright about that. It's just one of those things. Just one of those little things. I just thought, should we put up a tweet, tell people to join our Discord? and then we'll get on with story suggestathon. So I'm going to just, for a sec, just hide the logo because we're not quite starting yet. But what I'm going to do is tweet. Print screen. So we can get lure the people on the Twitter to the Discord too, and get more votes. Okay, so I'm in. Just wanted to make sure I was logged in first. Okay, so Discord link. What's our Discord link? It should be in the chat because here it is. Hi Xaver, how you doing? Hopefully they'll not notice or just not even read my email. You'll be fine, Kindled. It's very easy to overthink things like that and get embarrassed when everyone else thinks it's fine. So you'll be fine. And on some of the longer descriptive titles, I almost like them better without the first word. For example, instead of tangled thorns of discontent, just having it thorns of discontent. Interesting, for sure. So if there's ever any instance like that where any of you would have liked a variation of one of these, feel free to tell me today in chat, like Xaver just did. And what we'll do is we'll make a 6th poll where any of the variations can go in there. If we have enough, we get enough, because obviously if there's only one, then it'd be a bit hard to do another poll. But we can have it, title is what extra titles, community suggested variation titles or something like that. So if there's any more like that, Xaver or anyone else, feel free to say, because I'd be up for doing a poll for any community variation versions. If any of you feel like you could have done, feel free to say. That'd be awesome. And oh, we're getting a lot of votes. 7 for one of them. I wonder why people are drawn to that one. I mean, it might seem like there's more because there's only 4 choices in that one, but you're still voting for it, so must be one that peeps like. You could also get the winning one from each category and then get the variations on those, just to get it narrowed down. The variation, what do you mean by get the variations on those? Just want to make sure I understand, because you know me, I get a bit brain melty sometimes. But yes, it's a good idea to, if you guys in chat today in stream have any, like you brought someone up, Xaver, if we get any more, I think it'd be a cool extra poll to put up. But yeah, maybe there's another way of doing it too that my brain hasn't processed yet. Also, we was just putting up a tweet, weren't we? Okay. So, tweet time. I hope this doesn't look messy. What's the, I forgot what they call that emoji, the poll emoji. I don't know. I can just use that one instead. I like the polling one as well. Is it here somewhere? Also, I'm going to just, once again, like I said, give you guys the poll command. Oh, here it is, ballot box, that's it. Poll time. Actually, no, it looks a little bit, put something cuter there instead. I'm indecisive. Nah, I'm super indecisive. This is why I don't tweet enough, because I procrastinate over them all. I'll be here forever making tweets. Am I the only one that does that, or do you guys get like that over things you post as well? I feel like I surely can't be the only one that it takes forever to put together a tweet. One sec. We're voting. How are the votes getting on? Rotten you've written me a good explanation. I see over, you're a hero. Rotten Roots, Twisted Truth just sounds like it rhymes better out of those. So I meant that if one of each category, short and simple, thing and thing, I love thing and thing, long and descriptive, poetic and resonating, intriguing, whimsical is the winner, and then the next poll could vote on which is the best out of those. But then you can get variations on just those winners. Just a suggestion. I wasn't sure if you were going to do that. Do that way anyway. Okay, so yeah, what I was planning was getting a winner out of each of them, but not necessarily. Like, say for example, one of them had like a crazy amount of votes, like 2 of them have 20 votes in one category, but in another there's only like 4 votes. Then I'll pick 2, like whatever gets the most votes then, even if it's 2 in one category. But yeah, so that's, I'll probably do one of each unless something like that happens, and then I'll just have 2 from just one. But yes, and I guess we could do that. We could gather the winners and then look at them and think of variations. Because the way things are going at the moment, the one that you mentioned, Ivor, is winning at the moment. So there's a chance we can make some more variations on that one if it wins into yours. Got you, yeah, I came a little late today. So no worries at all. Better late than never, right? Than never. Okay. I was in the middle of the tweet. I forgot what I was doing then. We're voting for, how did we word this? Our favourite titles for Okay. Tweet. I think I'm alright with that tweet. Finally, after 100 years, I've finally done it. Hee hee hee. Alright, so I'm going to cross Twitter off now because it's very distracting. Alright, guys. Time to move on, though I will still be having a peek at the polls throughout the stream because I'm just curious how it's going. I'm very happy as seeing that which some have got some votes. And feel free to vote for more than one, by the way, if there's a few you like in the same poll. Don't feel you just only have to vote for one. Okay, story suggested on time. Let's get our awesome logo back up, shall we? Okay, so I might write up stuff in Google Docs. Just because I find Google Docs, actually no, I don't know. I'm torn. Because sometimes Draw.io is easier because we got the flow diagrams in Draw.io and it can be much easier to write quick notes on there. So we'll get Draw.io up, mind ourselves where we were last time we was doing this. Right, so I've got to refresh myself here because it's been a while since we've looked at this. Okay, this was main quest 3 stuff. We were sort of we had a chat a few streams back about optional secret playable characters, and we shared our opinions on it. I asked Chas, what do you think of optional and playable characters in RPGs? Are you a fan? And really we was all like of the opinion that it's good. You know, it's fun to have those unlockable secret things and encourages multiple playthroughs, especially if like things happen very differently. And you know, you want to it's nice to like form the party that you want, that customizable party. And have it be different on another playthrough. And the first time we get a choice will be in main quest 3. So this worked out nicely because of their classes and how main quest 3 is going to go. So it just felt like it was a good fit. To have a choice between who to recruit out of Herbalist and Diplomat, and things will go differently depending on which one you recruit. You know, the way we get into the cave and communicate with the reptiles will be different based on which one we go with. And do you have the names of all the areas on the map? Right, that's a question. I should know them all from memory, actually. Is there a particular reason, Zave? I'm curious. It's an interesting question, though. But yes, I know them all. I'm actually going to write them all down in a little box now that you say, because I know them from memory. Hopefully we can get the text big enough. Lakefall. Everbloom, Forest, Blessed Cascade. the way of that. Everbloom Forest, Winding Way. I'll bold the main locations. I actually purposely made sure that none of the titles that we used for and had as words were any of the locations, because I didn't want it to like be too repetitive. Sky Guardian, thank you so much for those 500 biddies. I appreciate that. I'm new here, but I love how passionate you are in creating the wondrous imaginary world for us all to drift away to. Watching and listening to you feels so warm and comforting to me. By the way, I love your writing and voice accent too. Thank you for the kind words and support. I super appreciate that. That's really nice. Can we have some hype for that, please? And it's good to meet you, Sky. Always lovely to meet friendly people that are awesome, like yourself, and a lover of RPGs and worlds. So I hope you're having a fantastic week, and thank you very much for supporting me in the stream. Does any of your friends or family help with the RPG? Everyone in my house wants to help me with the games I make. They see my family as in my actual like parents and sister and all that. They're not really, well, especially my parents. My sister likes RPGs. She played Final Fantasy with me growing up, but my parents themselves aren't RPG fans, so they'd probably be a little bit clueless, but they're very supportive though. Right, they're very I think it's really cool what I'm doing, but it's not really their sort of thing. They don't like kind of get the genre or anything like that too much. And Bite Size Play, how are you doing, Bite? And thank you for the hype, man. Right, so what's the third? Silent Haven. I'm getting these up because Xaver actually asked, and I'm curious what Xaver's thoughts were about it. Maybe it's helped to do with the titles, but we've only got 7 maps so far, and I can see us getting some more names in the future, because we are going to expand Everbloom Forest with more maps eventually, but right now it's still small. But don't forget, we've got the underground system of tunnels where the reptiles are living. That's going to be a map in some sections of maps in themselves. That's nice, supportive even without understanding it. Yeah, it is. It's lovely. And I was just asking about the places because a few streams ago I was lurking and saw a map with lots of characters on it, but I was in a meeting, so I had it on mute. Oh no, Xaver. Well, if you wanna, I mean, in case some of you don't know, I do upload every single stream to YouTube. So if like you've ever had to like miss a portion of the stream or a stream or a week of streams or even a whole month of streams, and you really want to catch up and be caught up with what we've been doing, then just feel free to have a little peek at those VODs. If you can remember what stream it was, by the way. But I like to do that just because it's very satisfying for me to see the progress and to just look back and see what we were doing earlier in the year and stuff, and it's going to be really cool to have them all. Hi Matt, how are you doing? It's good to see you. And because we're getting a few people come in, make sure you vote on our awesome polls that we've got in our Discord. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for the sub as well. Be spoiling me with those bitties and giving a sub. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Let's have some hype in chat, everybody. Get all those hype emojis in for that sub. Thank you for the support. Welcome to our community. Always wonderful to meet and welcome people like yourselves here. And yes, my mum thinks it's a waste of time too, but my dad likes it. Oh really? Let me read. My mum hates video games. She thinks I'm wasting my time by working. I'm really so first. That's really unfortunate. Just say okay boomer to her. Just say that. Everbloom Forest. And the fourth was Tall Stone Mountain. I'm going to get these down. I'm going to just keep them here. Probably because it'll be good just to have to refer to it, especially as we start doing plots and character arcs, because we'll need to sort of decide where they go and where the characters sort of dwell. So it's not a bad idea to get these titles in all honesty. I'll label it better though. So Everbloom Forest Map 1, Everbloom Forest Map 2, Everbloom Forest Map 3, 4. Oh no, I've done it wrong. This is map 1. That's 2, that's 3, that's 4. Serpent's Fork. I know Everbloom Forest like the back of my hand now. So I know all these names. Map 6, Ancient Overlook. So if anyone's curious about any of these maps, if you're like, oh, what's there? What's in that zone? Feel free to ask and we can chat about it. Lakefall itself is probably going to get expanded as well. So we'll eventually have more maps and subtitles for Lakefall, because there's going to be an area where there's hammocks where people go to sleep. Because at the moment the village is so small that there's only enough room for the actual business buildings like the inn, the tavern and the shops. But we need a place for them all to sleep, because of course they're going to sleep. And sadly my mum is not a boomer, so I can't even use that. Oh really? Is she the one after boomer then? That's even more unfortunate, because usually if you're not a boomer, you at least appreciate video games to a certain degree. I find the younger somebody is, the more they appreciate video games. Yeah, I feel lucky then, because my parents are boomers, but they're very supportive of my video game hobby and making games. They even watch my streams sometimes. So, but they're very, very cool. They encourage it. So they see it as something that's really interesting to do, and they don't see it as a waste of time. I think it's not a waste of time. I think if someone has that belief, it's sadly wrong. I'd have to ask why they think it's a waste of time. Yeah, they've never played an RPG themselves before. Those are some really cool names. They are, aren't they? We came up with them very early on, like we're talking in the first 30 streams. We came up with these names. We did it together as a community. We thought, oh, what should we call these zones? And we had I took the best chat ideas and I thought, yeah, we'll grab those ones. So what's the one between Boomer and Millennium? I think the one between Boomer and Millennial is it's not Gen X. Is it Gen X or Gen Z is the one after Millennial, isn't it? So that means Gen X is the one between Boomer and Millennial, right? Am I right? Yes. Van knows. My wife is supporting my son, is supporting my sister, helps me making games, but nobody else in my family cares and thinks it's stupid. Yeah, it's probably a generational thing with some. I mean, you know, some older people just don't appreciate the art form of video games and hates games with a passion. What sort of game? Is there any particular games out there that she dislikes? Like, is it like because my parents encouraged me to play video games growing up and actually bought me a PlayStation 1 because I thought it would make me help benefit me and my learning and development. Like, I grew up playing the Final Fantasy series, as you guys know, and my parents kind of saw it as that it's teaching me how to the dialogue, it's making my English better and my vocabulary. That's how I saw it. So you know, I think it's good for young people's development. It's stimulating. Yeah, I get that in my family a lot too. Half of my family, mine included, just hates technology in general, and then the other side is okay with it, but support me because I like it. No, technophobe. No, the order is Boomer, Millennial, and Gen X Zoomers. Yeah, there's one in between now. There's the Gen X in between Boomer and Millennial, because when you think about it, it doesn't go from Boomer and Millennial. There's that middle group of people too that are actually really cool. They're not as like boomerish, but they're not as crazy as us millennials. They're more of a middle ground. And yeah, Van got it, Gen X. She must be early. No, I think millennial, the oldest millennial is 1980. Is it? You would have to have been born in the mid-80s, really, right, to be an older millennial. Nothing is a waste of time if you enjoy it. Life is to be lived how you want to. Exactly, that's what life is. You don't want to be on your deathbed and be like, oh no, I wish I did that. You know, that's something to think about. You don't want to have regrets. And that's why I said earlier in the stream, it's a bit morbid, but it's not actually. Like when I says, I want to be on my deathbed and think I made a series called Raindrop Chronicles that was frigging awesome, and that's life goals. I did it. That to me is my life goal. My mum believes I should be outside working all day like some sort of man back in the 90s. Yeah, it's just a different world now. There's nothing wrong with being outside, but you know, the world has moved on so much. Since technology has just exploded, we're in the digital age here. Why would you be outside 24/7 now? I mean, it's good to have a healthy balance. I can get that, but I kind of feel sorry for people that are missing out on all this awesome digital stuff and have never used the internet before and all that. I remember in primary school telling people I learned the word discard from Resident Evil games. So yeah, games teach you vocab. Oh yeah, for sure. So yeah, make sure your kids play RPG games. Obviously make sure they're not R-rated. But you know, some parents don't mind letting their kids play R-rated games. I never did. I didn't grow up playing R-rated games, but I had friends that did. So did you guys grow up playing R-rated games? I'm curious now. Hi Try, how you doing? It's good to see you. I'm going to spam chat with the polls, and I'm also going to get the polls on the screen because I really think I should be showing them off today, not anything else. So we've got some polls in. Feel free to read all the info at the top just for more information on what we're voting for. But yeah, we want loads of votes. We want absolutely tons of votes, folks, on this, so we can get the best titles shortlisted for the final poll. But like right on the cusp with Gen Z. Are you? What is the youngest millennial? Is it the year 2000 or is that a Gen X? I don't actually know the birth dates of what you have to be a millennial. Thought Gen X was the boomers. Oh no, the boomers are before Gen X. I mean, as a guide, like my parents were born in the late 1950s and the early 1960s. That's boomer. Late 1950s and early 1960s. But then you got Gen X, which is probably late 1960s and early 1970s, or is that still boomer? And then millennial would be the 80s and 90s. And then Gen X would be the millennium and onwards, right? That's a sort of bit rough, but that's sort of how I imagine it. I've met millennial and Gen X boomers in that sense, as well as non-boomer baby boomers. I've learnt Chinese history through the Dynasty Warrior games. I can't speak. And other world history from Civilization. Passed my history test in high school because of exactly Xavier. That's what we should be telling these anti-technophobe boomers that don't like games. Let's get Xavier telling them and convincing them the right ways. I grew up playing lots of shooter games, did you? I'm awful at shooter games. Played Halo 3 multiplayer once or twice with some friends. And then I never played it again because I was always bottom of the list in all the matches. I was always the one that had killed the least. And I was like, yeah, I'm terrible at these shooters. I can't shoot. I give up. And then I went back to playing my RPGs. And my simulation games. Baby boomers were born right after World War II with the massive baby boom. Yeah, that's why it's called baby boom, because they all were very happy, those people that survived the war. And they got a bit too happy and had about 20 kids per family, and that's why they're all boomers. We got loads of them in this world. My dad's from a family of 7 and my mum's from a family of 11, so that says it all. They are blooming boomers. I come from a very traditional area. People are very poor here and a lot is expected of men with building, repairing things. Maybe I should move away from these people. You should, Zephyrus. Go for a better life. I believe in you. I played one M-rated game as a kid, but it was on accident. My dad didn't know it was rated M because it was scratched out. Oh, really? Did it traumatise you? When I was a kid, like, if I ever accidentally absorbed questionable content, I probably wouldn't have even realised it. Like I said, the Hugo House of Horror games were absolutely horrifying, some of the dialogue. Well, for a kid my age at the time, that was anyway, but yeah, I read it and took no notice. Millennials were born in 1981 to 1996. I was born in 94. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes me a very middle millennial. I mean, right slap bang in the middle of the millennials, I am. And Gen X starts around 1965, yeah. So that makes sense. Boomers at the early 60s, which is my dad, because he was born in the early 60s. Thank you very much, Bite Size, for that follow. I appreciate that. Welcome to the stream. I'm going to just spam you all again with a link to the Discord. That link will take you straight to the polls, everybody. So make sure you vote. I won't ever forgive you if you don't vote on this one. We want the best tile in the world, so it matters extremely. Perhaps if your life desires conflict with what is around you, I found that it is a time to move out. At least that is how it was for me, and I'm much happier because of it. Good attitude, so that makes sense. All these kids nowadays spend their entire day flying on spaceships and using enhanced virtual reality. Back in my day, we played real video games. Yeah, do you think we'll be those? Do you think when we get older, folks, that we'll be stuck in our ways and prefer things how they are like now, and we'll be very narrow-minded with new technology? Do you think you guys will be like that? I probably will, sadly. I'm going to admit it. I can be a bit old school in regards to game tastes. I'm not a modern game person. I mean, don't get me wrong, some modern games I get very excited about. For example, Cyberpunk 2077, yeah. But there's a lot of modern games that aren't really my cup of tea, and I tend to be attracted to those nostalgic ones, the nostalgic titles. I'm not into the fads, you know. 1 a.m. here in Japan. I don't want to be tired when I stream after work tomorrow. Chuck you a follow and come and check out Progress the Game some other time. Cool, bite size. You take care. Yeah, 1 a.m. Night owl, I see, like myself. You have a good day, and thank you again for the follow. I remember the only time I couldn't get a game was when I was around 10 and wanted to get Splinter Cell, but my grandma wouldn't let me because it was rated T. What's T rated? Is that teen? My goodness. I think it's also my area. My wife and I have been together away from our parents for almost 20 years now. Time goes by fast. And since I was a kid, I had no idea what that game was till I got older, so I never played Splinter Cell. I was scared of Tomb Raider as a kid. I played Tomb Raider 1, and I got to the part where the bear comes. And I started screaming, and I put down my controller and refused to play it ever again. Because I didn't want to kill the bear. It was just too lifelike. But yeah, I didn't have problems killing things in the Final Fantasy games. I don't like TikTok, so I'm sure, but same kindled. Now, no judgment here, guys, for any TikTok lovers in chat, but I can't bear the thing. It's such a fad. But this is how I know I'm a grandma. I'm a grandma millennial. I still find resistance with games made nowadays for some reason. I won't be what? Oh, you won't be judgmental against new technology? That's big of you, Van. I still think good pixel art is superior from any crazy superior free engine, but I know it's just subjective. Yeah, I mean, there are some absolutely gorgeous, stunning, well-made, immersive, wonderful 3D games out there. And, I love the ones that really tick all my boxes, that's for sure. There's a few out there that have done that. But that doesn't mean that old school games are amateur or bad or outdated either. They can still be just as beautiful. My only issue is with more newer games. It seems more rarer now that you get a modern game with real substance compared to before. And that's because a lot of companies now are too extreme in terms of business and making money. A bit more for that rather than the love of games themselves, which is a problem. As long as they still have a love for games and want to make good quality games, then that's great, and I have full respect for any companies that I like that. But it seems like there's sadly not many. There's a lot of greedy ones out there. I remember when people thought Minecraft was a fad. I think that's a tendency to write off genuinely good games just because they are popular with a younger demographic. Yeah, Minecraft is definitely, people love that game, and I've never really played it, but obviously it's got an appeal to some, and if people enjoy it, it's a time sink, isn't it, Minecraft, so I heard, and I've got no issue there. Got nothing against Minecraft. Newer RPGs tend to suck. Honestly, the 90s were the best era for RPGs, yeah. And I'm a bit biased at being a 90s kid as well. Some of the early 2000 RPGs were decent as well. But I think the thing with newer RPGs is that there doesn't seem to, it doesn't have the heart in them quite as much as those older ones do. That there's something lacking. I mean, visually they're stunning, but something's missing. I have seen games evolve, the internet come into being racing ahead with the times. Technology is fast, and I want to see what people create and join in. Interesting. If there's anything awesome, I'll be right on it. But TikTok, I don't know. I'm a grandma millennial too. A lot of the creativity is in the indie space nowadays. See, I'm very glad. I'm glad that indie exists, because if anything is more, brings back that old sort of nostalgic feel, it tends to be indie. The indie creators that do that. It's never really those AA games that give me those nostalgic feelings. But you know, there's plenty of there's a lot of AA games I love. You know, there's definitely wonderful ones out there, but there's also a lot of rubbish as well. So yeah, publishers are a lot bigger than they used to be too, which means higher costs, and that means a reduced willingness to take risks. And I do think that a lot of games, especially mobile games, lack substance. Yeah, I've never really been drawn to the mobile genre, really at all. I've played Gwent and Hearthstone on my phone, but they're just mobile versions of PC games, so it doesn't count. And some mobile games might be good, but I tend to prefer PC or console. A friend of mine was a game dev in the 90s, and the turn towards corporate control was happening then. His entire team was laid off before the game was released, to avoid paying them in the industry standard bonuses. Yeah, that sucks. That's one thing that concerns me. I know that we were talking about getting jobs in the industries earlier in stream, and we were like saying that it's super cool, but that's one thing that bothers me, how people get treated. That's not acceptable. There's a few mobile games out there that have substance. Again though, mostly indie studios, yeah. I think, yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's some gems in the mix. I think it can just be hard to find them because there's so much nonsense in the App Store and crappy, things that have been made for a quick buck. But yeah, I'm sure there's some good ones in the mix. It's just finding them. I know, yeah, Kindled gave me a few in the Discord, and yeah, they did seem like good ones. And unless it's Assassin's Creed, I'm a sucker for those. And I play Star Realm on my own phone, but that's a mobile version of a card game. Yeah, exactly. That's why it says Gwent and Hearthstone are really the ones that I've played on mobile, but they're just card games. And mostly the gacha systems, you're either in love with it and give it all your money, or you hate it. And I'm a sucker for Deltas. None of them have been too bad or make me regret buying them. Yeah, we've all got our favourites, haven't we? What's everybody's number one franchise, if you had to pick? If you had to pick one that sums your gaming life up the most. See, I have to say Final Fantasy, because it really is the series that have consumed most of my childhood and adolescence, but I'm definitely not a Square Enix obsessor, far from it. I can be very critical of them actually, especially with the newer Final Fantasy titles. I think I'm pretty open in the fact that modern Square, Final Fantasy 14 is really the only one I'm very into. Star Realms a lot on my phone, but that's a mobile version. I've already read that bit. Dark Souls, oh, that's hard. Oh, yeah, Dark Souls for Kindle, that's how we met. is playing Dark Souls. Strike me as a genre playing on unhealthy human tendencies. And probably Mario or Pokemon. Super Mario Galaxy in particular is a masterpiece. Pokemon from my childhood, but I've been branching out a ton since then. Final Fantasy is probably mine, but I tend to like a big variety of games. Oh, you're Final Fantasy like me as well, Van? Squaresoft, though. Squaresoft are where it's at, not Square Enix. But I love the Final Fantasy 14 team now. I'm like, literally, I wish that I didn't have to pay a monthly sub for 14, because I would play it so much more often if there wasn't the sub. I just can't afford it really all the time. Final Fantasy, of course, but I started way before you. And wish you were on Cool Rose, we could play together on 14, yeah. If I get myself a little bit more money, I might resub again, because I still need to play 5.3 patch. I just love video games, man. Yeah. Who's getting Cyberpunk when it comes out in a month? I know Kindle does, but I don't know if any of the rest of you are like as into it as us. Love Nia and want to play more amazing character action games. Nia's a good one. Love the soundtrack as well. Woo, okay. So I'm going to spam you guys with poll again. Thank you for those of you that have voted. I see we've been getting a few in. Hopefully we get some more in between now and Monday's stream, because some of them it's not very clear on what the winner is. It's pretty clear what the winner is in that poll though. Interesting, folks. But Xavier said something interesting about that one. I see F is winning on that one. Xavier liked a shortened version of that one, so I might add that one. Say if that one does win that poll for this one, I might add that one as an extra option on the final poll as well. Because I did say we could do a poll of if we had more, then if we had some more ideas in chat today, but we haven't. So I might just add that one. Oh, okay. And how long are we waiting for the poll to be finalised? Monday at the earliest, where it'll be shut. I'm going to judge on Monday what the votes are looking like. If it still feels like we need more, then we'll wait until Wednesday. But if not, we'll shut it on Monday. So next week we'll know. We'll get the final polling of the real shortlist either Wednesday or Friday next week, or even Monday, whatever. We'll see how the poll goes, and then we'll do it. But yes, we'll 100% know the title by the end of next week. That's for sure. My wife had to catch up playing old school RPGs for most of her youth. She grew up without a TV. I can't even imagine that, but yeah, where I live, there's some very traditional people here. Oh my goodness, what did she do growing up then, if she didn't have a TV? I'm curious what a young person would do if they didn't grow up with that. I feel sorry for this kid that lives across the road, because all he ever does every single day is play ball. Like, he does that constantly, and the ball noise never stops. It's 24/7, I'm not even kidding. I'm surprised that his hands haven't fallen off. And I just feel bad for the kid. I'm like, why hasn't he got a console? He should have a PlayStation or something, or a Nintendo. And Cyberpunk isn't really my style. I'm more into fantasy than sci-fi games, yeah. I don't have preferred genres. I kind of am the sort of person in regards to genres I like, in regard like fantasy, sci-fi, and all those things, the settings. I don't have a preference. I will like it if it's gripping and immersive and it's written well. That's kind of my rule. As long as it's written well and immerses me, I'm happy with whatever setting or genre it is. I mean, it's a first-person shooter, and I don't like first-person shooters. I'm going to be honest, I don't like them. The only first-person shooter game I actually played properly was Borderlands 1 and Mass Effect, but that's actually third-person because I switched to third-person mode. But it's made by a dev team I trust, and I'm pretty confident it's going to be a good title, a great title. So even though it's FPS, I still think it's very promising. I'm not going to go off on one just because it's FPS over third person. RPG National Anthem. Indeed. You know, it's probably a good thing he's outside and playing. Too many folks never get out. Sound like my mum now, Van. Get some fresh air. Nah, not really. Like, to be honest, my parents aren't like that. Though some parents can be. They're like, get some fresh air. Get outside. Stop playing video games. Love the Borderlands series. I got all the Xbox 360 achievements on Borderlands 1. I was pretty into it. I never got time to play the Borderlands 2 one though. Life got busy. Hi Rex, how you doing? So good to see you. How is your day going? Didn't have cable growing up, so I read books and later on played on a console. We won it in a contest, but my mom didn't really want it in her house. Oh, no. She was put in foster care when she was 13 years old, so she got into games and TV then. Well, at least she got into them eventually. That's the main thing, right? Also, Rex and anyone else that's just coming in chat. Paul. We got polls. Really, 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 really super duper important polls. The most important polls yet. Because, you know, titles are important. So feel free to vote, folks. If you haven't already. Speaking of FPs, the Halo story is actually really good. At least the original trilogy and novels. Didn't know about that much beyond that point. Everyone was just obsessed with the multiplayer on that game from what I remember. And I was rubbish at the multiplayer. How about the Elder Scrolls and Fallout series? Bethesda aren't bad. I think that CDPR kick their asses in regards to quality writing and immersion, but I still think Bethesda are decent for RPGs. It's still better than a lot of games out there on the market. Mainly I'm more of an Elder Scrolls person than a Fallout person. I enjoyed Skyrim. I need to still play Morrowind though. I've got that game. I've actually got it in my Steam library, Morrowind, and I've only ever heard good things. So I need to give it a go. You should play BL2. It's my favourite in the series. So good. Yeah, I should. Because I really did enjoy Borderlands 1. For me to be into an FPS says a lot. It must have been good. I did enjoy it. Poll champ. Wait, do you have a mod res? It's Rex, so you aren't the only streamer. You aren't the only streamer without a mod referring to in the box attached. Oh yeah, I have mods. In fact, let me get it up. So the bot should say how many mods I have. I have about 6 mods in this channel, actually, believe it or not. But I don't see you folks that are mods as mods, really. Some of them haven't even been in the stream for a year. They're just friends. Like, the people that I've modded are the folks that I've known the longest on Twitch and my most trusted friends, that have been here from the start, that have always only ever been frigging awesome. So they tended to be the ones that got the mod role, and it's not out of obligation or for them to like be in stream all the time. I've never said that. I've never like forced that upon my mods. To be honest, guys, it's a problem I have. I have trouble expecting things of people. I feel guilty and bad that anyone would feel obligated to mod for me. And I kind of feel like I have to do it myself. Is that weird? Because every other stream has mods. But I'm like, no, I can't expect things of people. I have to do things myself. And I think the reason why I'm like that, sadly, is because people have always held, like, guilt tripped me when something's gone wrong and been like, oh, but I did this for you. And it's turned into, like, manipulation and control. And I get a bit scared then of ever giving anyone a role of power, because then they can hold it against me one day. How bad is that, though? That's not good. But that is kind of the gist of it. It's daunting to get, because I've found myself in that situation, not just on Twitch, but throughout my life, like with friends, or people that I did trust. You know, I've turned out they've been like, oh no, like after 2 years I've super trusted them, and then they've like turned around and said something like, oh, but I did this for you, so you need to do this for me now. And I've been like, hang on, that's not right. And then, you know, they've shown their true colours. Yeah. Bethesda is good for just wandering in the world and discovering things. Their writing, bugs and basic gameplay drag them down, along with the fiasco with Fallout 76. Yeah, I think their games, their worlds are terrific. Like, in terms of immersion and wandering around, yeah, top level stuff, but especially with mods, even more so with mods. Skyrim's pretty basic now without the mods, but yeah, it can be a bit buggy and the writing isn't the most wonderful, especially when you compare it to some of the other dev teams out there. But yeah, they're not too bad. They're definitely not, and they're definitely not a company I dislike too much at all. There's definitely worse ones. Guilt tripping is gross, it is. And RuneScape, despite the memes, probably has the best quests of any MMA. Stories relying on multiple skills rather than just kill 5 wolves. Yeah, in my opinion, quests like that ones like kill 5 wolves, should be hunts, not quests. You know, quests should have more substance than just that. Well, as time moves on, you'll find the right people to help you out. Yeah, I feel like at this point, I'd only want people to be a mod in the channel if they literally said to me that they will do it. And it's really difficult to explain, but I'd want to think that someone really wanted to do it and I wasn't like forcing it upon them, because it's always ended up bad when it's been like that. And I'd never force anyone to do things, but they've always twisted it so it seems that way in the past. And it's like, no, people can come in this stream when they want. I can't enjoy base Skyrim anymore knowing all the mods that exist. Same kindled. Some of the so many good mods for that game. And I can think of twice I've seen it happen to you on Twitch alone, and I was barely around for years. Try it's happened to me like 4 or 5 times. It just doesn't stop. It's like, so it's the one downfall of being a streamer, and I just don't care anymore. I appreciate you guys for hanging out and stuff, and I like our hangouts, but I don't like to get attached because it always ends badly. I should ask if you liked the Final Fantasy VII remake, or is that an auto ban? I didn't like the Final Fantasy VII remake, no, but if people did, then good for them. I'm really happy for people. I know people that really enjoyed the remake, and and I'm happy for them, but I could write a long list of problems. But that doesn't mean I'm going to bite people's heads off who enjoy it, because I'm not like that. People should have an opinion and have things that they enjoy. No judgment from me. People don't have to be identical to me and like the same games as me. I need Skyrim with Dark Souls combat in order to play it now. Yeah, Dark Souls combat is really good, even though it's hard. I know exactly what you mean. See, I would happily mod, but I learnt too much to be useful. Yeah, exactly, Azrael. And I'd admit now, just as an example, if Azrael was a mod, I'd feel like really guilty, because Azrael works when I stream, and most people here work while I stream. A lot of you are work lurkers. So I'd kind of be like, God, I'm making them be a mod for me while they're at work. That feels a bit immoral in a way. I just feel like I must just be a very independent person. That might be what it is. And it's almost like I feel weird almost letting somebody have some form, like do something like that for me as well. Because you've asked them, by doing it, they're doing you a favour, yeah. But it's really sad when it turns out that way. And believe me, I can tell straight away it's manipulation and completely wrong, anyone that says that. And I usually cut them out my life or ban them as soon as it happens. I'm like, yeah, I'm seeing the signs of a manipulative person here, so you're gone, you're banned from the stream, I'm afraid. That's kind of my rule now. Because you don't want to have someone like that in your life. It sucks the life out of you, really does. So just be fussy with who you associate with is all I'm gonna say. Hi Rose, I would not like to be a mod. I'm not here enough, so I'll just be a regular chatter. Yeah, and I think Persona 5 Royal is my favourite RPG of this generation. Persona 5 is a really good RPG as well. Had a lot of style, and it was very long story actually. I hated the remake. You did? Yeah, I mean, it wasn't all bad. I could say some things I liked about it, but there was definitely some flaws there too. I want to get the remake because I never played the OG, and the combat looks good. Yeah, I think from what I've seen, the people that really enjoyed it and got a lot of joy out of the remake were the ones that didn't play the original. But it's not because us folks that did play the original are just biased. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but there was a few things changed, that wasn't really it wasn't like that in the original story. I don't think it should have got messed with. And I think it was a little bit linear, and there was a few too many invisible walls and railroading for a modern RPG. Of that standard, in my opinion. Which kind of took me out of the experience. But the visuals was beautiful, and the characterization was done well as well. I think a lot of people think that they have learned social skills, but actually just learned emotional manipulation and don't know the difference. I maintain that the remake is good as its own game, but doesn't replace the original, if that makes sense. Yeah. I think you have to see it as two separate games, because they are really two totally different games. It's a different experience and a different story at this point, the remake is. But yeah, some people don't realise they're being manipulative. That's definitely true as well. But they need to realise that they need to be more self-aware and they shouldn't talk to people that way. I unironically believe that the 7 Switch port is the best version of Final Fantasy 7. Oh, really? That's nice that it was a good port on the Switch. Yeah. The Switch have got some good ports. Even The Witcher 3 is on the Switch, isn't it, I think? Young RPGs tend to hate turn-based combat, yeah. Which is strange to me. I'm of the opinion that both action and turn-based can be equally as fun and satisfying. It just depends on the game and its style and what works best. But they both can be fun. Turn-based is very fun. It's strategic. It requires thinking, and I guess that people that don't like that must just not have much patience. Must just not have much patience. I'm not into turn-based. I need action. Yes. I'm not very good at action. I prefer thinking my moves out. I enjoyed Darkest Dungeon because it was more like that, and I like that because there's not enough games like that out now. So I actually played that recently. I re-downloaded it, and it's like why I like some card games as well, because they're similar in that way. I don't want to think I want to use my skills and reflexes. Yeah, if you've got skills, then I can get it. I've never had any skills when it comes to action combat. You know me in Dark Souls. I just, fluked my way through. I did. I definitely did that. I completed it, which I'm really proud of. I completed 3 of them. Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne. But I just fought bosses and just pressed some buttons and hoped for the best, and until I succeeded. That was my trick. My reactions are not fast enough for ARPGs. As Rose says, turn-based allows you to plan ahead. Yeah, maybe it is a generational thing, but maybe it's just preference of what you prefer. Fact is, you can't please everybody. No, can't please everyone. Everybody, when you release a game, not every single soul out there is gonna love every feature. You gotta cut. This is why I say go with your vision most of all, because you're the one that matters as the creator. Because if you're not going with your heart, you're gonna lose interest. So most of all, stick with what you like. Are you going to get Demon Souls? That's only going to be on PS5, isn't it? Or am I wrong? Is it going to be on the PS4 as well? But that looks really good. I saw the trailer. The times 3 speed mode, but sound doesn't speed up in the Switch port of 7 made encounters a lot more bearable. Oh yeah? I think PC had that for some as well, but I don't know if they had it for 7. They might have had it for 8. Take Dragon Age, you can pause the whole combat and scroll around the map to plan out what you want to do. Yeah, I'm with you, Azriel. I'm very much similar in thoughts, because yeah, I don't feel like my coordination and my reflexes are good enough for action things. My memory's bad as well with buttons to press. Yeah, I'm not getting a PS5 on release, but maybe in the future when there's a larger collection of games out, I might. But I'm just not really in a position to be putting my money into consoles at the moment. I need to save up for other things. So I'm just glad Cyberpunk's going to be on PS4, because at least I've got my game on there. Very portable. Yeah, I'm glad that the Switch actually do ports right, because Steam don't sometimes, sadly. How is our polls getting on? Yeah, you can tell I keep going on about it, can't you? So I'm obviously excited. Oh my god, how is it already? It's already 6:45 already. Can you believe that, chat? Just been rambling on forever. Okay, so how are we going on? Oh my goodness. One of them's got 9 votes. There, okay. But we need more votes. I think we will definitely need to get some more time on Monday for getting in more votes on these. Unless peeps vote over the weekend, which sometimes happens. You need to buy the dev kit version, Rose, so you can get Chronicles on PlayStation 5. Imagine buying an RTX 3080 having a new PC build rather than next gen consoles, which seem to be trying too hard to be PCs but worse. Alright guys, so I'm thinking, what can we talk about before we end stream today? Because we're so close to the end, I don't know if it's going to be smart to like really get into discussing the story elements, because we might need more time to like talk about that. So we can start next Monday. We can really start getting into the story elements. I think we'll do story first and then NPCs. I'm thinking that order, because earlier this week I was thinking we'll do characters first and then story, but now I'm thinking no, we'll do story and then characters, because thinking of the story first can help you come up with those NPCs much more easier. And I've already started having a few story ideas over the course of this week and my week off. I started thinking of some things that I thought were really, really cool. So I'm looking forward to discussing that more next week with you all. Hey Rose, hi Coda, how you doing? It's good to see you. You're having a good Friday. That's why I like my Switch. It's happy being its own thing rather than trying to be a living room PC. Let's start a discussion then. What's for dinner, Rose? I have no idea. I never know what's for dinner until I finish my stream, because I'm not cooking. Not when I stream. I'm not. So it's a surprise for me. Hopefully it's some awesome. What about you guys? What's for dinner for you guys? We're making small talk today and the rest of the stream, because I mean, I could easily start talking about this more story stuff, but like I says, maybe it's not smart to get into it right now. Might do a bit of trivia. Could do a bit of Raindrop Chronicles trivia. That could be something we do. So be prepared, because I might put a couple of trivias in chat. Made sweet corn fritters yesterday, turned out nicely. Sweet corn, I used to really dislike sweet corn, and then I had it by the sea when it was really fresh one day, and I was obsessed with it. I might have a question, well, not really a question, but a topic of discussion before we end the stream, obviously related to RPGs and stories and things like that, and branching paths. I'm going to just see if we can get up the relevant document. This one, maybe. Maybe this is the one. Oh, I hope you enjoy it, Asriel. This track reminds me of Lego chess music. Oh, it's a Final Fantasy VII. Oh no, is it still being a butt-face again? Not opening our files for us. Damn it. It's not wanting us to do this. I'm gonna keep trying. Oh, finally it's opened for us. Got a load of notes here, but gonna be tidying this all up eventually. Okay. So let's just organise this a second. I'm just presenting this so it's a little bit tidier. By the way, I'm going to put poll in just so lurkers, anyone new coming in, knows about our poll. Okay, so guys, this at the moment is the point we're at in regards to what the key choice is going to be in the final quest of episode 1. I guess it's the climax. It's you decide who you're going to stand by, and it's everything, all the story of episode 1 that's led up to this point. Everything, all the little events, everything that's happened, you get to this decision. Now, so we've had a bit of discussion about it so far, and why has it gone up there? I don't know. Someone was like at one point, why can't we have a choice C where we've got a middle option where it's like the best of both worlds? Maybe even, you know, getting them both to live together instead of having to just choose between one. I was pretty adamant that we don't, for reasons, which really is because it's just not realistic to do that. I wanted to bring it up, that sort of thing, because some people do like that payoff. Something positive happening rather than, oh, why does it have to end where you have to pick one over the other? And, you know, the whole theme of prejudice hasn't had a happy ending, right? Well, prejudice isn't something that, when two groups of people hate each other for a very long time, it's not going to happen overnight and quickly and easily, right? Just not realistic. So if we was making one of those games where, then we could do that, but we're not. Raindrop Chronicles is realistic, folks. So keyboard sounds, choice A and choice wrong. Now everything should have a gold and best option. So you're feeling the same as me then, Try, because I was interested in how chat felt about that and what you guys, what you thought about that kind of thing, because some games, some choice-based games might have that third option, that nice, happy option, so that players can be satisfied, right? They get the payoff they've wanted, and everything's nice for them, and everything's happy. But maybe I don't know if I'm in the minority or majority here, but I I like to give players a tough choice. I don't like to make it easy for them. And I want to crush their souls with that tough choice. And it just feels like, if I'm being honest, if we had that choice, say, it's just trying to appease people, and it's turning the game into something that really realistically wouldn't happen. Reptiles and humans are not going to be friends. It's not going to happen, especially not over the course of such a small period of time. Like, we're talking episode 1's timeline. It's probably just a few days or a week or something, you know. It's not a long period of time for such a long, like, decades of hatred to suddenly be like, yeah, let's live together and merge our groups as one. It's kind of very silly. And sometimes in life you'll have to just choose to reduce harm rather than make everything shiny wonderful. Yes. And I think, like, you know, as long as you as the hero have had a personal journey, then it doesn't have to be all happy ending. You know, as long as there's a transformation somewhere along the line, then that can be payoff enough. And you know, so there will be, because you as the hero, is going to go through that journey in episode 1. Choosing to spare the retreating enemies after you win should be the good choice. Avoiding all conflict here isn't realistic. Choosing to spare the retreating enemies after you win should be the good, yeah. And I'm sort of like, oh, there's no good or bad choice. It's just the choice between two tough choices. Neither is good or bad. It's kind of like subjective and personal preference on what, and your personal morals and belief. So with what is going to be the choice you go for. There's not necessarily going to be, oh, choice A is the good or choice B is the evil. It's just like we say, reptiles, humans, there's no evil. But as for these two choices, one thing I do want to say is that it's not as simple as just choice A and B, okay? For example, people playing Raindrop Chronicles, it's going to be a little bit more complicated than just this. You won't get just either that ending or the other. There's all these little choices you've made throughout episode 1 that could affect what else happens. So, for example, the choice you made earlier on in the game with the fruits. Who remembers the fruits here in chat? Does anyone remember the fruit characters? Apple, tomato, lemon. Those cute little fruits that you fight as the first boss. You had a choice at the end of that battle. We're in the middle of writing it, actually. We have to do the scenes for this part still. But you have a choice to either kill those fruits or let them live. Now, the choice you make, you fight them as a boss and then you get the choice then. So obviously, they don't die after the boss fight. You get to choose then. But basically, the choice you make could drastically affect the ending as well. For example, this is where it gets a bit complicated, so we might need to wait till Monday to talk about this more. But there's different outcomes to choice A, and there's going to be different outcomes to choice B. It's not going to just all be the same ending. Things that you've done before will affect what the outcome is. So I'll say ending, actually, because it is going to be the ending of episode 1. Why they put episode? Right, so right now, well, with the fruit choice, there'll be two different endings for each. So I'm going to bold those ready. Call these A and B actually. So if you and put the poll in chat again. If you haven't voted, do you remember them? Yay! It's easier to code. Meeting a survivor later on who recognises you spared them, even as a throwaway NPC, makes the choice feel more impactful. Yeah. The NPCs, the relationships you build with them, how you treat them, I love all those to be entwined with the main quest as well, you know, and how things could be different and play out. I think that's very fascinating. And even if it makes it a little bit more complicated to code, I don't mind, because it's worth it just to have those extra details, and it makes it better. I like when games make the intended good options harder, as doing the right thing isn't always easy. Yeah. That as well. Although I still get a little bit like, good and bad option. Obviously some quests will have good, bad, tragic ending, happy ending, because the writing of it just makes sense for it to be, for those to be the outcomes. But for this particular outcome, it's definitely not so black and white, because there's good and bad humans and good and bad reptiles, and that the choice of who you stand by isn't straightforward. It's kind of going to be just who you were personally most attached to, I guess. If you let the fruits... No, if you killed the fruits... So, I like this because having something that happened earlier on come back to bite you in the butt potentially is good. If it works, if the story flows, it makes sense, it's good. If it's just there just for complete nightmare fuel or just for the sake of it, then no, it can be frustrating. But if it's put together well, then yeah. So yes, there's basically going to be two endings so far. There could be more if we flesh out the main quest line with more choices, but so far we've only really written this in the main quest line. There was a mini choice with Fiona Buckington pushing her in the lake or not, but I don't think that will affect this particular ending. It will probably only really affect Fiona Buckington's behaviour towards you and a few smaller details along the way. But this is the first major choice that we've sort of set in stone in the story, the main quest story so far. So I'm kind of like thinking how that choice we have designed is going to affect our ending. Okay, so I'm not going to end the stream quite yet. I'm going to just ramble on a little bit longer. But basically, the fruits are a little bit evil. They have plans. So if you let them live, they are going to come back and do what they promised they would do. So if you've been paying attention, that goal will happen, but only under certain conditions. something else would have had to have happened for them to be able to do it. And to summarise it as simply as possible, just so I don't get too complicated for those of you that might not be fully aware of what the plot is with the fruits. I mean, we've got the Law Bible, feel free to read. But the simple summary of the fruit goal is that they want to conquer Lakeville. They hate humans because humans have ate them and their kin. They've turned Blueberry's mother into a pie, and they've squashed Tomato's brother into tomato juice, and they're angry. They think humans are greedy and awful, and they want revenge. As for reptiles, we don't really know their relationship with the reptiles yet because we haven't really developed them as much, but that's something to consider too at some point. Reptiles are in the cave, so they might not have as much to do with the fruits, but the humans definitely were responsible for that. So they hate humans. They want to conquer Lakeville, get revenge, and to do that they needed Rose's vampire blood because it's a special ingredient. But they didn't get Rose, so because she's alive, she's fine. But that doesn't mean there's not another vampire around that they can't use the blood of. It's not Try though. Try is fine. Try can't die yet, but there could be a vampire around somewhere that they do sacrifice if you kept them alive. So it's an excuse to create another vampire NPC in the game in episode 1, and I have thought of an idea for this vampire NPC and where they'll be. I've got some notes actually. I can smell dinner now. It's making me hungry. It's not quite ready yet. That's why I'm still streaming. Because I'm in the middle of summer, that's why. I'm sure you thought about that. And let me read what you said, because I read the last thing you said, but not the thick stuff before. I hope you're prepared for a huge spike in view numbers after episode 1 is released, by the way. If it's successful, you never know, it could completely go under the radar. And nobody would ever know about it, which is their loss, of course, because they're missing out on playing a really cool story. But we'll see, won't we? Because we have no idea how it's going to go. Absolutely no idea. Okay, so let them live. The fruit's goal is to get revenge. Well, I don't have to go into complete detail. I'm going to keep this brief. So, if you let them live, they will they will do this, but only if okay, so this is new information here. Set the vampire free in the cave. Okay, so this could always be fleshed out, this plot, but this was my first initial thought. That in the cave where the reptiles are, there's a vampire in there that's been sort of captured by the reptiles, perhaps for food, potentially. There's definitely room for development, but that's a starting point. And when you go to the caves, you as the hero in the party will encounter this vampire, obviously in a vulnerable position somewhere, who knows what this vampire is going to be like. We don't know their gender, we don't know their look, we don't know if they're feral, if they're like Rose, if they can talk, we don't know. That's all up for development at this point. But there's a vampire in that cave that's been captured, and you as the hero see that vampire, and you have the option to set them free or keep them in there. Either leave them or set them free. Problem is though, if you set them free, the fruits will use that vampire's blood to achieve their goal, because that's the whole reason they wanted Rose in the first place. If you've been paying attention to the plot, guys, you will know that that's what the fruits wanted, what they needed to be able to conquer it, for the blood of a vampire. Rose just happened to be the only vampire that they knew was around, so that's why they asked for Rose. But if another vampire comes along, that's fine, we'll use that vampire instead then. So if it turns out you did set the vampire free in the cave, they will kill that vampire and achieve their dream of conquering Nightfall. They bite you on the butt, basically. It's like, yeah, don't let things, don't avoid killing things just because they're cute, hero. You know, you might feel guilty and think, I'm going to keep these fruits alive because they're kind of cute, you know. But it's like, the lesson to be learned is, no, you have to kill evil things, even if they're cute. But at the same time, I want there to be some sort of good, like the hero to benefit in a certain way from picking option B. Like maybe he got something good will happen. I can't think right now. We did make a list, so I'm gonna have to look back at that list of what the pros and cons were of each of those choices. But if the hero benefits in some way, whether it's certain loot or a certain something that they get, even an extra side quest with the fruits later on in the game that's unlockable, that obviously won't be there if you killed them, there will be some kind of benefit down the road to a certain extent. So it's not going to be all horrendous and all tragic. Otherwise no one will ever pick option B, let them live, because they won't want this to happen. But they wouldn't know anyway if they've not been in the stream. So and I'm sure the uniqueness of its development will get attention from Polygon, etc., if you make sure to emphasise it in terms of the community-made aspect. Don't get me wrong, I expect it to be niche, but the niche may be bigger than we expect. Yeah, imagine. I wonder what happened to that made my character attacked when he first turned. Yeah, so one thing we will need to do is develop this vampire character, because we know zero about them right now, other than they're a vampire and they happen to be in the cave. So we can totally flesh them out together in a stream next week or the week after or whenever, because I don't know if we're going to be doing character streams just yet. We'll focus on story and plot points first, and then we'll move on to fleshing out the NPCs that have been mentioned in the story and the plot points afterwards. I think that's how we'll approach it. We'll see how that goes anyway. Yes, there's conditions there. So if it turns out that you've let the vampire remain in the cave and you didn't set them free, and even though you let the fruits live, you'll be okay. Lakefall won't get conquered at the end of the game by the fruits, because they would never have had the vampire's blood to achieve their goal. So, you know, and I kind of, you know, I like having that bigger consequence and having it be a bit more developed, rather than it just be an empty scene with fruits that comes to mean nothing at the end. I like that it actually does matter, and that all that sequence and that build up has come back and affected the ending to a certain degree potentially. And it's a hard choice, because I think naturally a good moral human, a good moral hero player playing the game would want to set the vampire free, because they'd feel bad. They'd think, oh, that's a shame that vampire's captured, I should let them out. So natural instinct for some people would be to let the vampire free. But I think a player who's a little bit more paying a bit more attention to the plot might realise that I think, oh, but if I set that vampire free, what if the fruits find that vampire because I did let the fruits live? So yeah, I probably should let the vampire free. Like, anyone who's a bit more forward, thinks ahead, and it'll pay off for people like that. Because if you're not really thinking it through properly and you've just let the vampire free without thinking, then it's going to come back to haunt you, basically. So that would be that's pretty dark, and I'm still up for like development in terms of that ending, like, but you know, that would be pretty bad. And it might not necessarily be all the humans, but only the humans that are like throwaway characters that we don't need for future quests. But to be honest, a lot of the humans here will be throwaways, as long as they're not like key to the plot. The fruits kill the reptiles. We still need to think about the fruits and how they feel about the reptiles, because we know they hate humans, so of course they'd kill the humans. But would they be different if it was the reptiles? They might not be, because they're all, nature itself that have come to life probably dislike both the reptiles and humans. Probably hate humans a bit more, but maybe still hate reptiles too. I'd have to consider that a bit and think of why the fruits and reptiles might not get along either. But obviously, the humans, if you... in peace. That's the most basic description I can think of that one so far. Humans live in peace. And same for this one, the reptiles live in peace. And you kind of, I'm picturing right now there being a sort of ending sequence where there's a bit of a scene going on. You see them going about their day, like sort of sitting around like full, whatever ending you get, whether it's the humans or the reptiles. If you got ending one, they're sort of living nicely, talking to each other, sitting around, fishing, going through the shops, whatever, wandering around the trees. But if you got ending two, you'll see that same sequence, but then the fruits come and it's like crap. So yes, it's, if you did let them live, it's not necessarily bad. It only if you did the unfortunate thing of setting the vampire free in the cave. So although you thought, oh yeah, I can't let that poor vampire die in the cave, I'm going to let them out, they're going to die anyway. So, you know. Okay, let's catch up with chat before we head off, because I want to see what you guys are saying about this. And just keep in mind, this is all like first thoughts. Like this, to me, I'm drawn to it because the whole sequence with the fruits that happens so early on in the game matters to the extent that it'll affect the ending of episode 1, and to me that's very appealing, rather than it just be a scene that is just there for the sake of it and has no importance at all. But it's going to be, you know, we have a massive brainstorm of the fruits and the pros and cons of killing them and letting them live. So we need to review that as well to remind ourselves what the other pros and cons are for killing them and letting them live. And anyway, let's catch up with chat. I'm already excited to make this vampire character. We might have to reread Triakis's character's form, Daniel Raven. I put his full name in the form, by the way, just so you know. I might have to reread his form to see if there's any references from that. And because if, you know, you never know. If that character you mentioned, the maid or whatever, could be the character this is, we could. Although I am kind of partial to making this vampire a male, because I don't want it to always be a female vampire that has to be sacrificed to the fruits. But we'll see, because we don't know yet. All depends. I'm not attached to gender either way of whoever the vampire is. It's whatever works best. Spare us and we'll paint you this cool axe weeks later. Thanks for sparing us. We did exactly the evil thing we told you we were going to do. Yeah, exactly. They said it all. The fruits really speak out about it. So really, if you let this happen, it's because you weren't paying enough attention, Mr. Hero. You got warned. You should have thought when you saw the vampire in the cave that maybe it wouldn't be smart to let them out into the open in the forest where the fruits are hanging about and might find them and use that vampire's blood. The vampire trapped could make them easier prey, so the truly smart option would have been not to let the fruit go in the first place. Yeah. Exactly, and that'd be nice. Like, if you killed them, the fruits, then you can set the vampire free in the cave and the vampire can live happily. And there'll be an ending of when the vampire survives, I guess, and they don't die in regards with that option, which is an interesting one. But the killing the fruits, let me just say, it's not necessarily going to be an easy choice to kill the fruits. I'm going to make sure it's a tough choice. Like a well-balanced choice as well, where there's pros and cons either way. And Met, welcome back. And wow, so this seems like it could be a pretty intricate combination of choices indeed. I want to try and do that. It's my challenge to myself as a writer and someone putting this together to have... I kind of just love the idea of making this RPG like that, like a really... Things actually matter. The actions you make in the game are going to screw you over potentially if you're not paying attention. And even things that the player wouldn't have realised, like something really tiny and small, like such as setting a vampire free, could, but it makes sense, But it's an interesting one. And, well, if you let the fruits do that, you should have casualties among the fruits that are different, like against humans, blueberry dies. Again, against the reptiles, lemon and plum or die or something. I'm interested in what you mean, Van. I mean, I've got a bit of brain melt, but if you want to expand on that, whether in chat now or whether in Discord, feel free to. Because I'm definitely keen on what you guys think and ways to make this frigging cool and even more fleshed out and intriguing if possible. Because this is just a foundation of it, So the fruits win if you both spare them and free the vampire. Otherwise, you either get reptiles or humans winning with dead fruits and the vampire still captured. So if the fruits win if you both spare them and free the vampire, otherwise you either get reptiles. My brain's completely melted, Met. But I hope that all this completely makes sense. If there's a sort of flaw in any of the writing or any questions you're confused about, feel free to point out. My brain's melting, so I can't absorb what that says. And change whatever makes the story better. I wrote around giving you options, and so my question is, and yeah, thanks Try, I'm happy with your thoughts. And why would the hero want to side with either group? A hero may not want to be a killer of a race. There's good people among both. Is there going to be any quest where the hero can try to get the good people out of either side? Because you're going to see nice people on both sides as you go through this, and how could the hero even call himself a hero if he's slaughtering the good among the bad folks? Yeah, for sure. To be honest, the hero ain't a hero. I think that's a lesson for the story as well, that you as the protagonist could do some really crappy things, and the hero label is just a way to label them, I guess, but it doesn't necessarily make them a hero. But for sure, there's definitely things to consider there. I guess it's more like the hero's hand has been forced, and it's kind of a lesson that you, as this one human, don't have the power to really make a difference to what is going on here, because if you did, you're just one human being. How is one measly human being that the reptiles and humans don't even know, never met before, how would someone like that have the power to really change the war and make them live in peace? See, that wouldn't really be possible, would it? In a realistic story like this, it wouldn't. It's more like the hero's just an observer of a mess of chaos waiting to happen, and he's just trying to make the best of it and sort of limit the casualties based on who he's more attached to and the characters he's got to know and like, and over the course of the episode. That's kind of where it is right now. Feel free to point out plot holes though. Any key things sticking at you that feel wrong. I mean, I might have even missed some myself. It's always good to analyse and sort of point little holes out in things that I might have not even known for sure. Just want this to make sense and be awesome, of course. Thank you, Mana, for the follow. Have I got your name right? Manican, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Cons, the fruit people are cute. Players are used to thinking of sparing enemies as always being the good choice. Pros, literally everything else. Yeah, we do. That was definitely one. I remember being cute, being one of the flaws for killing them. But there was quite a few actually. I will have to get that document up to review what the pros and cons were, because it was pretty deep actually. We got pretty detailed on it. Well, one human being might warn the good people. Try to drag them away from the area if they can. It may not be everyone, but even if it's one or two, he did something. Yeah, and it's all about how we write at the end of the day, isn't it? So that this is really what's happening, and there's going to be many intricacies and little dialogues and character thoughts and hero bits and bobs that are all happening among all this. And I'm glad you pointed that out, Van. I'm going to reread what you said, though, when I'm off stream, just so I can take it in a bit more, because I've got the brain melt. But yes, we want to think about the hero. We want to think from the hero's point of view while all this is going on, of course. Make sure that because the hero matters. We're the hero. And we want this journey we want the player to feel something and it to feel realistic while we're playing through this. For sure. And I suppose you as the hero, you're just doing your best, trying to prevent as much damage as possible from being done while all this is happening. And I'm sure, you can do good things. There'll be little instances when you can help someone out, save someone's life. All those things that will give you as the hero, the player, some relief and joy. I love those things. And you as the player yourself are going to learn about yourself from the choices you pick. You're going to have regrets because you'll think, I should have picked that choice. It's come back to bite me. And you're going to go through all this emotional sort of stuff and conflicts inside yourself as you play the game. I want to create that sort of thing. We're going to create that sort of thing for people. And exactly, it might not be forever, even if it's one or two who did something. That's what I mean. If we can, we might not be able to stop the hatred itself because it's too ingrained, it's too big, it's gone on for too long to be able to stop it overnight, but we might be able to sort of do some good in it all to help some individuals as best as we can. And we'll think about what we can do to do that. But as for ending, and you can't stop the racist stupidity both sides, but if you can save someone, it's better than nothing, yeah. Because I think that's the key thing. Us as the player, when we complete this little sequence, we want to feel something like you've done something. We don't want it to be all sadness and heartache and trauma, do we? We want some joyful moments in between, and there will be. I want to evoke all the emotions in this episode And that was something I researched, actually, the 8 emotions. Psychologist Robert Polchick, I can't pronounce his name. I wrote some notes about that, and we can talk about that next week as well, about evoking different emotions and feelings with quest lines and all that kind of thing. We don't just want tragic, because it'll just be a game of sads then. We want the tragic moments, of course, but we want it to be mixed in with the happy, the joyful, the suspense, the really heartwarming moments and fearful moments and all that as well. But as for the ending to it, the fruits conquer, then a fruit or two should perish. Yes. So that's something to think about too. So if we have the whole conquering ending, what happens to the fruits after that? Will there be a side quest in episode 2 where we meet the fruits again and get our revenge on them? And then there will be some payoff. If so, it's just delayed payoff. And we'd have to think about the fruits themselves as characters if we were going to kill any off for good, or if there was any characters that were going to have a more bigger arc in the whole main plot potentially. And it's hard to make the fruits be too big of a key characters, because obviously in some playthroughs they won't be alive, but it's interesting to think about. And I know that there was a few ideas from you guys a few streams ago about what could happen to the fruits. Met to mention something about one of them being a carryable item, which I wasn't sure about at the time, but who knows. But we'd have to think about the fruit's future is all. Well, there's a lot of development and thinking work to do and think about what could work best. And later the hero can hear about those humans or lizards dying, and there was a fruit death too. Yeah. And, kind of makes it a little bit nicer knowing that one of them died, I guess. Because it's like, wow, there was some, like with Game of Thrones when a certain character died, who I'm not going to mention in case someone's watching it and I don't want to spoil it for them. I mean, yeah, believe it or not, some people still haven't seen Game of Thrones. But when a certain character died, everybody was so happy because they finally had, there was finally justice after so long. If you don't do that, it can get a bit frustrating. But at the same time, we don't want it to be everything happy, everyone being friends, holding hands, and it not being realistic and it being a fairy tale. It's about getting that balance right so that, it's a satisfying experience. I think that the written dialogue should really express that the hero is dealing with a problem beyond his scope to solve right now. Just can't see myself as a hero joining in on this carnage. Yeah, so that works, and I think that's the point, isn't it? The problem itself is so racism, prejudice, not in real life on planet Earth. We all want it to not exist, but a single soul isn't capable of changing the system or changing everybody's minds that dislike each other. It's a dream that is impossible, but we want to try, and we try our best to sort of ease some of the damage. That's kind of how it is for us in real life too, in regards to those themes and social issues. So I think if we can, and I guess it's good that you're thinking of yourself, Van, as the point of view, as the player, because that's what we want to do. We want to imagine ourselves playing this game as the hero and making sure that we shape the actions with something that we ourselves would love. We've got to think in our own heads. So if there's ever a moment that we're like, oh, actually, I don't want to do either of those, screw this, I'm turning the game off. That's what we don't want. We want to make sure that we're compelled, and we're like, I'm really compelled with this, so I'm obviously not going to turn the game off. I've got to make this choice, but not to this. It's definitely a challenge, but we'll do it. And My opinion would be side with neither, let them dig their own graves. I'd side a few and get out. So you're thinking we could have are you thinking that perhaps we could have an option C, but not where they live happily ever after, but where you're sort of letting them do it themselves? Do you think it's worth considering that? Because I wanted to bring up today, before we finish the stream, about that. Because I know that choice C can't be that they live in peace together in harmony. It's just not. It's too happy ending. But I am willing to have a choice C if it's something that's more realistic to what we're doing. And as long as it doesn't get too complex with the code inside either, and we can still, it still more or less goes in a similar way to how these are going. Nice spoilers. Yeah, you're gonna get, if you hang out here, you're gonna get spoilers, because this is a community project where we build and shape the story together. You do first, but the project itself is going to be about 5%, 10% unspoiled. By the way, some plot elements will remain unspoiled for reasons, obviously. So some things will be a surprise to you guys. But yeah, it's all on the website. That stuff is about spoilers and stuff, about the fact that some stuff will be unspoiled. Yeah, because joining either side feels like you're joining in on the racist beliefs. Yeah, cool. I'm going to make a note of that then. I guess in some way, are we going to have a drawback to picking choice C? Because we don't want to get ourselves into the situation where everybody just picks choice C because it's easy. We don't want to get ourselves into that either. We still want to create that whole player difficult conflict and decision, difficult in a conflict with what choice they make. We don't want to make any of the choices too much of a free pass. So in regards to choice C, I really like this idea, but I think it needs to bite us in the butt to some degree for kind of chickening out. Maybe it'll make some of the NPCs dislike us for not helping them. And of course Rex wouldn't join the party as a playable character, so you can forget having a cleric with you. If you Rex will only join you if you pick choice B, basically. So this music, Final Fantasy music, is it? Save a few and get out, yeah. And story-wise, some will join either side, but there's going to be a percentage of players having seen both sides and thinking, I don't like either, I don't want to help either, yeah. End result can be the area becomes a war zone. The disruption continues, there's no resolution, and social rest continues. Yeah, we'll think about that in a bit more detail then on Monday next week, because next week's streams we're gonna just ramble on about story elements and plot points, guys. We're gonna really try and flesh those ideas out more in regards to what's going to happen during episode 1's main quest and potentially some side quests too. So thanks for your thoughts. I think just from this last half an hour conversation, we've had some interesting things have been brought up. But yeah, we definitely need to expand on choice C and even develop all the choices in general out a bit more, because it's going to go deeper than even just this with the fruits. There's going to be other choices that happen in the main quest, other plot points that might affect some little details as well to a certain degree, but it's only that we know so far that the fruits is the one key choice that we have, that we've already set in stone and written. But that doesn't mean there won't be any more. There definitely could be some more. We'll see, won't we? It's making a personal moral choice versus a community moral choice. Yeah, interesting. Super interesting. If we're still brainstorming potential choices, maybe we call in a external agent like the fairies or king, but they force a peace by ruling very harshly. Yeah, the only plot hole I can see with that would be, how would the hero know the government, those groups of people, because he's still a nobody who's very ignorant of the world and doesn't really know anybody. So how would he have had that power to do that? So that's something to consider, but feel free to discuss that, if you've got any thoughts, ideas. I think in regards to the free, we don't want to probably go beyond choice, say. I think having 3 is plenty, especially because they're going to be so detailed, each of these 3, over with all the little different things that are going to happen. But for sure choice C needs sort of fleshing out, so you never know, there could be some things we could do to like really make choice C an exciting and potentially disastrous choice. We'll have to think about that one. And diplomat in the party there, perfect. See, this is where I completely forgot about that, but that's exactly it. If you did recruit the diplomat, you might have the power to do that then. How interesting. Whereas if you have the herbalist, you don't have the contacts to be able to. So it could just make it more layered even further, and I do like that a lot. All those layers, all those complexities, it make you want to replay it to see them all to a certain degree, or at least watch other people's playthroughs to see how it worked for them. I think this is the sort of game that you'd like to, that could be interesting to watch streamers play, just to see what other people do. I get excited by that anyway, especially when there's so many like little tiny intricacies, I can't say that word properly, and usually in these multiple ending games there's always a bad ending and a good ending, but it would be cool if both endings would be good. Depends how you look at it, which makes it different, that is. Yeah, Arthur, I said it a little bit earlier actually, that I don't even see it as there being a good and a bad. It's kind of just moral perspective. That's how I see, which is why I've labelled them choice A, B and C, and not good, bad and tragic and all that. And some quests might have that sort of framework where it's tragic and where it's good and where it's bad because the quest is written that way, such as the Stumpy one or the Forbidden Romance quest. But in regards to this particular quest, there's definitely not really a good and bad. It's just honestly about your moral perspective and where you stand as the player and what you think is the best thing to do. And anyway, I'm going to give you all the poll again. Thank you so much for your ideas, Triad Van Met. I appreciate the thoughts. Very interesting things to consider. And we'll be back on Monday, won't we, to flesh out all this even more. It's going to be super exciting. Hopefully we'll get some more votes on the poll. I'm going to spam that chat with this. Hopefully we'll get some more votes on the poll by Monday. But if not, I'll just tell peeps in Monday's stream to vote as well, and hopefully we'll get a few more votes. We've definitely got a few, and I can start to see which ones are being favoured, but we need more votes still. So it was exciting. Thank you very much, folks, for voting on that poll. I am going to drop us off, though, to someone who's online. I know I'm finishing late today. My dinner's very much close to being ready. Wow, I really did go on a long time streaming today. Hope I get a chance to raid somebody. And I'm going to put trivia in chat. I apologise for being so random with it and giving you no warning, but I've said in the past, if I'm going to do a trivia, it's probably going to be at the end of stream, so just remember that, folks. I'm going to take us quickly over to Vagabond Dog, guys, because I don't really have time to look through my followers list at the moment. My dinner's about to be ready, so I will have to rush off. Vampire. Oh, quickly. Points. Vandalia. I almost forgot then that we did a trivia. There. Did it just in time. Okay, folks. I will see you all on Monday. Have a fantastic weekend. Thank you so much for being awesome.